The Los Angeles Raiders couldn't believe in this year's draft when their turn came in the first round that Marcus Allen was still available. They made him their first-round choice, and they've had no reason to regret that decision. Allen is averaging 4.5 yards a carry. He's caught 22 passes. He can turn nothing into 5 yards or more. The Raider quarterback is the remarkable Jim Plunkett, now in his 12th season. Plunkett here finds the equally remarkable Cliff Branch, number 21, now in his 11th NFL season. Branch can still burn you. Perhaps the real surprise of the Raider offense is number 46, Todd Christensen, now their starting tight end and leading receiver with 29 catches. It's been a disappointing return to the Rams for Vince Ferragamo, almost as disappointing as the Rams season. But with Burt Jones injured, Ferragamo is now the Ram leader. His chief weapon is running back Wendell Tyler, number 26. The Rams' leading rusher with 400 yards and their leading receiver with 21 catches. The Rams haven't thrown to their wide receivers often, but when they do, number 88, Preston Denard, is still a dangerous man. So today at the Coliseum, it's the Raiders and the Rams for the bragging rights in the City of Angels.
CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today, the Los Angeles Rams against the Los Angeles Raiders.
The sprawling Los Angeles Coliseum on just a perfect day in Southern California. Temperature about 70 degrees. No wind to speak of. It's the Rams against the Raiders. And, of course, there is going to be a football game here this afternoon at the Coliseum. But off the field, the controversy seems to be the thing that involves most people's minds as much as the game itself. Controversy in the Rams situation in the front office and the coaching situation involving Ray Malavasi. Always controversy, it seems, where the Raiders are involved. They've been surrounded by that for years. And good afternoon to you. I'm Pat Summerall with John Madden. And, John, how much do you think those off-the-field incidents involve the game itself?
I really don't think that they affect the game. I know in the Raiders' standpoint, they seem to thrive on controversy. You know, the more controversy, those types of things, the better they play.
How about the Rams?
The Rams, I don't think it's a controversy that's bothering the Rams as much as their defense. You know, for years, the strength of the Rams team has always been their defense, and they're just not playing on defense the way they used to.
John, forgetting all those off-the-field and courtroom distractions, if that's the correct term to use, what do you see as happening on the field as far as football is concerned today?
We know we were talking to Ray Malavasi yesterday, and he said the thing that his team has to do, he says, we know we can move the ball because we can move it against anyone. He says, but to stop the Raiders, we have to stop their run and put them in passing situations. Now, the big thing there is stopping Marcus Allen. They have to stop him on the run, and it's going to be an interesting matchup because Jim Youngblood, the left linebacker for the Rams, is starting as middle linebacker today. So that'll be interesting to watch and see how they do it.
And they're going to start to do it right now with Chris Barr getting set to kick off. Barry Redden, who's improving every week. Number 30, the Rams' top draft choice. Back standing at his own 1-yard line. Here comes Chris Barr. No win. Good kick. Redden, 2 yards deep in the end zone, will come out behind the Ram wedge. And comes out in pretty good shape. He's still on his feet. He's got to beat Barr. Barry Redden could go. Redden down the sideline inside the 30. Still on his feet inside the 15. Calvin Muhammad with that great speed saved a touchdown as Barry Redden showed you why they say he has improved every week, and what a way to kick it off in this great rivalry. From the end zone, look at that return again.
Barry Redden was the #1 draft choice for the Rams this year. He's from the University of Richmond. Watch him. He breaks that wedge, gets through that first group. Now there's no one here except the kicker, and a good return man will always outrun a kicker. What a way to start a game.
Best thing the kicker can do in a situation like that is get out of the picture.
And he did.
1st and 10, Preston Denard and Willie Miller, both on the right-hand side of the field. Wendell Tyler cuts back to about the 15. A gain of 2. Let's set The Los Angeles Ram offense. Ferragamo, the quarterback. Wendell Tyler and Mike Gooman, the two runners. Willie Miller and Preston Denard, the wide receivers. Up front, a good offensive line. Pankey, Hill, Doug Smith at center, Dennis Hara, Jackie Slater, and the tight end Mike Barber. 2-yard pickup by Tyler. It'll be 2nd and 8. Line of scrimmage is the Raider 15. No score. Ferragamo from the Rams to Canada, back to the Rams. Barber was in motion. Ferragamo quickly to the outside. Preston Denard down to about a yard shy, it would appear, of the first down. Ted Watts made the stop.
Ted Watts is in his 2nd year. Tom Flores was telling us last night that every team seems to work against Watts because he's starting for his 1st year, and of course they're staying away from Lester Hayes. So Tom Flores thought that the Rams would work on that side passing the whole game.
He thought correctly. It's 3rd and 1.
Way on the other side. Yeah,
Flores seemed very relaxed last night, didn't he?
You're 5 and 1. That tends to relax you.
Coffee goes down more smoothly. 3rd and 1. Wendell Tyler is hit. Penalty marker down. I don't think he got the first down. Pat Haggerty is the referee. It's against the Rams. Against the Raiders, sorry.
That'll give the Rams a first down inside the 5-yard line.
Ray Malavasi in the middle of your picture. That's John Hadel to his right. He had some pretty good years at quarterback with various teams, and some, I suppose, John, against your Oakland Raiders.
A lot against our Oakland Raiders.
Pat Haggerty.
Encroachment, number 77, defense.
That'll make it 1st and goal from the 4. The Rams, after an 86-yard kickoff return by Barry Redden, have a chance to break on top. But if you look back at their season, that's not necessarily the end of the story. 1st and goal from the 4. Vince Ferragamo. Barber and Battle, both on the same side, 2 tight ends. Tyler down near the goal line, almost got in. Lester Hayes tripped him up.
We see the Rams running to the right side to Mike Barber, and Ray Malavasi says that he has really helped the running game of this team.
The front 3 of the Raiders, when the situation is normal, not down here. The linebackers, a good crew. Hendricks, Matt Millen, Bob Nelson, Rod Martin. And the secondary, Hayes, Watts, Mike Davis, and number 44, Burgess Owens. 2nd and goal from inside the 1. No score yet. Ferragamo out of the intended receiver, incomplete. Lofted over his head. Mike Barber hit that running track with his elbow. That's gravel, and that stings.
That was an interesting play. What they did is they faked that tight end trap where the tight end comes back in motion. We see where Mike Barber hit right there. He took a chunk out of the turf. Anyway, they faked that play, and then they ran a bootleg to get Barber into the end zone. I think if you're that close, you may just want to run that thing in, wouldn't you?
I would think so. About a half yard's all they need. 3rd down. The Raiders tough down here. Tyler and Gooman, the 2 running. That's Tyler going in motion. Didn't get in. Ted Watts made the hit on Gooman, and he didn't make it.
One thing on the goal line. I love football on the goal line, but one thing, you have to take that ball and keep it going forward. Now watch Gooman. He delays right there a little and then try to bounce out. You cannot delay when you're running on the goal line. You can't delay.
Now Ray Malavasi has to make a decision whether to go for the 3 or whether to go for the 6. And he's already made that with no hesitation. He's going for the 6. Ray Malavasi under fire, at least according to the press. 4th down. Ferragamo to Tyler, and Tyler slashes into the end zone, touchdown. Serious altercation going on, and it continues. Tall Ted Hendricks looking into the pile. Lyle Alzado was one of the combatants. Willie Miller now trying to settle things down. Jack Youngblood out to say stop this foolishness.
Of course, that won't affect the touchdown because there is a flag on the play, but it came after the touchdown. We just see on that play, Wendell Tyler took the ball in there the way you have to, and they got movement. The Ram offense moved the Raider defense back into the end zone. Here's where it starts.
Personal foul offense and personal foul defense, offsetting penalties. After the penalty, the touchdown stands.
Mike Davis was the Raider involved, along with Matt Millen. And Dennis Hara and Irv Pankey were the Rams involved. 17 yards, 6 plays. Rams kept it 3 minutes, 25 seconds. Mike Lansford, the new Ram kicker, with one shoe off and one shoe on. Lansford from Washington. Nolan Cromwell is the holder. Penalty marker down. Probably too much time. I can't tell. I know they've had a lot of problems here with the 30-second clock and the game clock. I don't think it's
Encroaching
working.
defense.
It's against the defense again.
That's one of those penalties that you turn down because on the extra point, you're used to kicking it from that same spot, and you don't want to change the spot. So you just say, we refuse.
So it's a good time to encroach if you're so inclined.
You want to encroach.
You have to have, the rules say, a stocking on both legs. It doesn't say it has to be a full-length stocking. So Lansford has on about a third of a stocking on his right leg. Extra point is good. 11:35 left to play quarter number 1 at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Wendell Tyler, who just scored the touchdown, and his Rams lead the Raiders by the score of 7-0. So the Rams move on top very quickly. They'll kick off from the 40 after that fracas on the touchdown. 11:35 left in the first quarter. Lansford's kick is a good one. It will be Greg Pruitt, about 5 yards deep in the end zone. Pruitt breaks out of the pack, gets out to about the 19, where he's knocked down. Mike Riley took him down. The Raider offense, quarterback, of course, is Jim Plunkett. Marcus Allen and Kenny King, now the fullback. Cliff Branch and Malcolm Barnwell. Here is the mix-up again. Matt Millen involved in another fracas.
Maybe this is a rivalry game.
It's going to be.
Coach has said it's not, but we've had about 3 or 4 fights in less than 4 minutes.
That's the offensive line for the Raiders, and they feel that they have a very fine, young offensive line. I think they're right about that. King is the close back, and Marcus Allen the deep back in the eye. Plunkett trying to set up a screen to the left, does set it up to Marcus Allen. Allen for about 7 yards. Mel Owens starting at linebacker. And let's look at the Ram defense and tell you how they set up. A 4-man front. Jack Youngblood, Mike Fanning, Cody Jones, and Reggie Doss, the front 4. The linebackers, and this is new, Jim Youngblood in the middle, George Andrews and Mel Owens, their first-round draft choice of a year ago. The outside men. Secondary, Thomas and Perry on the corners. Johnson and Cromwell, the safety men. 2nd and 2. Plunkett gives to Kenny King. He might have gotten a half yard, not much else. Johnny Johnson given credit for the tackle, but they just collapsed the whole left side. About a yard, make it 3rd and 1. If you look at the book on Kenny King. Marcus Allen. Not only is big and strong, he's got great quickness and great speed to go along with it. Good pass receiver. He can do everything. 3rd and 1. This is Marcus Allen. He needed strength and quickness to get the first down, or he got very close to it.
Let's watch Jim Youngblood. We talked about Jim, number 53 there. Watch him. He's playing middle linebacker for the first time. He's always been, of course, the outside linebacker. Reads that very well. Gets to the hole about the same time Marcus Allen does. But Marcus Allen got that extra little push, enough for the first down.
The 10-year veteran from Tennessee Tech, Jim Youngblood, not related to Jack. 1st and 10 for the Raiders, their own 31. Here's Plunkett faking, being chased by Johnson, and down he goes. Johnny Johnson on a safety blitz. Big loss. George Andrews came from the other side, and he helped out.
You know, this is what we were talking about with Ray Malavasi yesterday on 1st down. A running down. The Raiders go play pass. They go roll. Here comes Johnson from the backside. Whew! Darn near takes a helmet right off Plunkett's head. And then stop him on 1st down, put him in the 2nd and 3rd and long, go to the 5 defensive backs, make them pass. He said, then we can beat them.
17-yard loss, 2nd and 27. Cliff Branch. Malcolm Barnwell, the wide receivers. This is Marcus Allen. And once again, that Ram defense is fired up. Mel Owens, the first man there. There's Tom Flores. So gracious to us last night.
It's no fun to coach, Pat, when you're 2nd and 22. You can't think of a good play in that situation. And now they're about 3rd and 25, isn't it?
A little bit more than that, I think.
I used to always go to the sideline and take a drink of water then. You know, the quarterback's looking over. What do you want, Coach? What do you want? And I'm over there taking a drink with my back to him.
Talking to the guys upstairs who are not on the other end of the phone either. Ray Malavasi looking on from the side. 3rd and 27 will make it. Kenny King and Marcus Allen behind Plunkett. He drops the throw. Youngblood with a good rush. Mike Fanning, Cody Jones, all of them there. 79 is Mike Fanning. Didn't play last week. But a good pass rush.
This is what the Rams have to do. This is the old Ram type of defense. The pass rush, the gang tackling, safety blitz. We see Jack Youngblood coming from the outside, but it was Fanning that was the first man there, Mike Fanning.
Youngblood made him step up. Fanning made the hit. Leroy Irvin standing back at midfield. Dangerous man. Ray Guy standing deep in his own end zone. He catches it. He didn't catch it. But the 39 is where he started. Stays on his feet. Gets down to about the 32 where the Rams will take over in good shape once again. Bob Nelson, the man down to make the tackle. That was a 32-yard punt by Ray Guy and a 7-yard return. The Rams lead the Raiders 7-0. At the Los Angeles Coliseum, Pat Summerall with John Madden. 7:41 left to play in the first quarter. The Rams lead the Raiders in the Battle of Los Angeles. 7-0. Preston Denard swings in motion to the left. Now goes back to the right. Wendell Tyler spins inside the 30 to about the 28.
You know, it was interesting, Pat. All week there was talk in the newspapers that this is a rivalry game. Although these teams have only played each other 3 times in regular season. And the players, the coaches were saying it's not a rivalry. We're in different conferences. There's no rivalry. But watching this game, it sure looks like one to me.
When you see all those scuffles going on, you believe that. 2nd and 6. The Raider 28. Ferragamo will throw. Has time. Finds a man. Barber is tight end. Close to first down yardage. Burgess Owens, number 44 on the stop.
Mike Barber, of course, played tight end for the Houston Oilers for years, and then they made a trade for Dave Casper. Last year, both Mike Barber and Casper alternated at tight end. Then he was traded in the offseason to the Rams. Ray Malavasi said that it's given him a lot more blocking on that thing, and this short type of control type passing. You see the receivers go deep, Barber blocks and then comes underneath.
Mike Gilman to get to the outside. Falls forward for a couple. Not much more. Rod Martin tripped him up.
There's Rod Martin. You know, we drafted him when I was still with the Raiders in the 12th round. That's the last round. And we got to the 12th round, and we didn't have anyone we really liked. And I called my friend John Robinson at USC, and I said, John, is there anyone around there that hasn't been drafted who can still play? And he says, yeah, Rod Martin. I said, okay. Went back in the room and said, let's take Rod Martin, and we did. He's a great player.
Well, now he's a veteran. 6'2", 215. Ferragamo has second down and 8. Drops back into the pocket. Lofts one out for Wendell Tyler, and he has a touchdown. Rod Martin was chasing, but Wendell Tyler just pulled away. 18-yard touchdown pass from Vince Ferragamo to Wendell Tyler. And the Rams once again take advantage of good field position.
I'll tell you, good field position, and it was a great call. Because what happened, the Raiders weren't a blitz. They blitzed their 2 inside linebackers, and that put Rod Martin man-to-man on Wendell Tyler with no linebacker help inside. Anytime you brag about a guy, something bad always happens to him. You ever notice that?
Oh, yeah.
That Rod Martin's a great player. Wendell Tyler beats him for a touchdown.
Lansford with Nolan Cromwell holding, trying to make it 14-0, and he does. Let's look at that touchdown again with you, John.
See what happens is as the Raiders come on a blitz on this, we see the quarterback here. And now we see Rod Martin. He's man-to-man. Wendell Tyler had about 3 or 4 steps on him. Okay, now you see the 2 inside linebackers come, 51, 55. Now Rod Martin has no inside help. Wendell Tyler gets across, and it's no contest to the end zone.
So the first 2 times the Rams have the ball, they score 14-0. Ferragamo's 18-yard pass to Tyler finished off the touchdown drive. Lansford will kick off. Kicks off. He's a quick change artist. Wears shoes to kick off and kick field goals. Extra points he does barefoot. This is Greg Pruitt. Pruitt with some room. Pruitt to the outside. Chased by Lansford. Knocked out of bounds by Johnson.
The Raiders got Greg Pruitt in the offseason from Cleveland, and he has been a big addition to this football team as a kickoff and punt returner. Right there, he just didn't have enough room, and the kicker knocked him out of bounds. Let's watch that last touchdown by the Rams. We see what happens here. These 2 guys blitz. Now, when that happens, that gives Wendell Tyler a clear area coming across the field. Now, watch how that happens. You see the blitz. When you bring 2 men on a 3-man line, then you're man-to-man. And you see how that gives Wendell Tyler that whole field coming across.
Tough job to ask a linebacker to cover like that. With Branch in motion. First and 10, Raiders at their own 45. Plunkett will throw on first down. Does. Going for Branch. Had him deep. Rod Perry on the coverage. Rams lead 14-0. And speaking of Ram early leads, opening day against Green Bay, they led 23-0. They lost 35-23. Against Atlanta, they were up like they are now, 14-0. They lost 34-17. And then last week against Denver, they were up 21-0 and lost 27-24. So really, the key to their 1-5 record has been defense. You look at Wendell Tyler. Second and 10 from the 45 with Plunkett, the quarterback. Will throw again. Down the middle for Todd Christensen. Penalty marker down. Incomplete to Christensen, but a flag down in the middle of the field.
That looks like one of those penalties that'll go against the Ram defense. It'll be something on Todd Christensen. It'll either be against Todd Christensen or it'll be on the Rams doing something against Todd Christensen. Because that referee, that official was right there watching. Boom, he threw it right at him.
Illegal contact, defense.
Against the Rams. The Rams, when they were introduced initially, were booed rather soundly.
Yeah, that was a good boo. Nice boo.
That's rather soundly.
The Raiders had a good cheer.
Yep. Blackout
contact, defense, first down.
This broadcast was initially not supposed to be lifted because it's not a sellout. They have about 60,000 people. But it was mutual consent of the two owners that it should be shown locally. And we're glad that it is. Marcus Allen for about 4 over the left side, tripped up by Jim Youngblood.
You know, one of the things that the Raiders are doing more this year, and it's because of this man, Marcus Allen, is they're running more out of the I formation. Of course, that's what he ran at USC, and he just seems more natural in that position. You know, he can run to the right, to the left, get inside quickly, and all those types of things.
He says it gives him a better look at the defense, the same look at the quarterback. 7 yards, second down, 6. Allen again to the outside. Penalty markers come flying out as Marcus Allen is stopped by Leroy Irvin, but gets very close to first down yardage. And Haggerty says it's holding against those in black.
I think those in black lead the league in penalties this year.
They do indeed. Something like 87 yards lost per game. That's a lot.
That is.
Holding, number 79, offense.
Bruce Davis, number 79. He's replaced a veteran who I thought would maybe never be replaced at left tackle in the offensive line. A great record. One of the great ones, yes. Art Gill. Second down. Plunkett drops to throw. Fanning hits him just as he lets it go. This will be picked off. This is Nolan Cromwell. Mike Fanning caused that interception by Nolan Cromwell.
That's right. That's one of those interceptions. Now, they're going to pat Cromwell on the back. It'll go in the stats. They'll congratulate him. But let's watch Mike Fanning. He comes from the right of their screen. He's going against number 65. Beats him to the inside. The center went left. He hit Jim Plunkett just as he threw, and it made a duck out of a pass. Let's see if we can watch it again. We'll see Mickey Marvin blocking here on Fanning. And that was the thing that gets the thing. Cromwell's just back in here, and he'll get the interception. Now watch Fanning here. You see, it looked like Mickey Marvin, the right guard, was expecting inside help from his center, but the center went left, opened up the hole. Fanning hit Plunkett, and it went end over end. Cromwell's right there. There's no Raider there.
And the duck went south in the hands of Cromwell. And the Rams have another break, 14-0. Jim Plunkett, number 16, having just suffered that interception, was hit by Mike Fanning. Nolan Cromwell came up with it.
There's big Art Shell there patting him on the back. You know, you need those types of people around. They got, you know, a lot of times they just leave that quarterback alone when he throws an interception.
First down, 10 for the Rams. Vince Ferragamo, the quarterback. The scoreboard is out. Passes to Barber. And it's complete for another Ram first down inside the Raider 40. 17-yard gain on first down.
This is what Ray Malavasi was talking about. He said we have to be successful on first down. He said we want to make things happen, you know, and run, mix up play pass and that type of thing. And so far, the Ram offenses look very, very sharp.
They really have. First and 10 at the Raider 40. Ray Malavasi a little bit happier at the moment than he has been under all the fire of recent weeks. This is one of the time. Tyler slashes for 5. Ted Hendricks, number 83, the great veteran, made the stop. See what they did to make that play get 5.
Let's watch it down here. We'll see. There's Lyle Alzado. He's the new player that the Raiders got this year from Cleveland. We see Earl Pankey fires out on Alzado, gets that left arm out there, keeps him on the line of scrimmage, and then puts him on his back. That's pretty good blocking by that left side.
That'll grade very high.
Big Earl Pankey.
6-yard pickup, make it 2nd and 4. The two wide receivers both on the right side. Here comes Gennard in motion. Randall Tyler trying to find someplace to go. Is hurled to the ground by Lyle Alzado.
Well, Lyle Alzado has played in this league for 12 years. And you know, you're going to get some plays on him, but you're not going to make a living doing it. You know, and that's what he said. He said, Okay, Irv Pankey, you got one, but the next time you come in here, I'm going to get me one, which Lyle just did.
You can tell by the scars on that helmet that he's been in some tight spots. So is he.
Big John Matusak, the tooth. He has a back injury, and he's on injured reserve.
Drew Hill now in the game as the Rams go with 3 wide receivers, and Ferragamo drops the throw. Looking, throwing, picked off. Burgess Owens comes up with the interception for the Raiders. Drew Hill was the intended receiver.
Let's watch the pass rush on this. Again, we're watching Lyle Alzado here on Irv Pankey. So he gets Pankey coming up the field, knocks him to the outside, goes inside, hits Ferragamo just as he throws the ball. I'll tell you, it's tough to throw under those types of situations. Let's watch the whole play here. Ferragamo feels it, has to throw out here. He saw the man covering, but he didn't see Burgess Owens in front of him.
Alzado could have really drilled Ferragamo on that play, but he didn't. Still 14-0. 2:24 left to play in the first quarter. Rams 14, Raiders nothing. Raiders have the ball at their own 33-yard line, 1st and 10. After the interception by Burgess Owens. Plunkett still has Kenny King and Marcus Allen in the backfield. On 1st down, Plunkett will throw, and he has Marcus Allen. 9-yard pickup. About a half-yard, perhaps, shy of the 1st down. Lyle Alzado on the sideline, proudly carrying his youngster around the hotel last night.
Youngster and a milkshake.
Milkshake was his.
I didn't know if he was going to share that thing with the youngster or not.
2nd and 1. The Raiders 43. Plunkett will throw it again. Outside, Cliff Brandt. Ruled out of bounds. Rod Perry, the defender. Official right on top of the story.
This is a little quick out. Eventually in this game, we're going to see Cliff Branch go deep. Now he's trying to run a short pattern in front of Rod Perry to bring him up. Let him think short so he can get by him later. We can see that his left foot hit the line. You have to have both feet in bounds, of course. If either one of them hit the line, then it's out of bounds, which it was. But Rod Perry is going to see Cliff Branch go deep eventually.
Frank Hawkins now is the other running back. Pitches back to Marcus Allen. He got the 1st down. Good effort by Allen. Nolan Cromwell, Johnny Johnson both had a hand in bringing him down, but he got the 1st down.
So we were talking about Marcus Allen, and from training camp, all the players, the coaches, everyone, they talk about this guy. They know he's a great runner. He's a Heisman Trophy winner and all this. But let's talk about how tough he is and reckless. He really is a reckless type runner and blocker.
2 Heisman Trophy winners in that Raider backfield. The quarterback Plunkett and the tailback Marcus Allen. Malcolm Barnwell has it knocked away just at the last second by Pat Thomas.
Let's watch Jack Youngblood here. He's number 85. He'll be going against number 70, Henry Lawrence. Henry Lawrence, a good pass protector, stops him there, bounces back, boom, gets that one more to knock him to the ground.
Plunkett is now 2 out of 6. 17 yards gain. The one completion to Mike Barber got that pickup. I'm sorry.
Some blood on there. Did you see that? Yeah, blood in the hip. Oh, yeah. This is going to be a good one. On grass, in the pit. There's
2nd and 10. It's back. Marcus Allen, penalty marker already. Allen spins, stays on his feet, gets to midfield. Johnny Johnson tripped him up.
There's Jack Youngblood. You know, he came in there and he tackled the blocker. It was the I formation. He tackled the first back through was Frank Hawkins.
Holding against the often penalized Los Angeles Raiders. Pat Haggerty, the referee.
I'll tell you, for years I've been talking about officials, but this is one of the officials that I really respect the most. I think that Pat Haggerty is one of the finest officials in this league today and one of the finest officials that this league has ever had.
He just made Art McNally's day.
No, maybe Pat Haggerty, but I really like it. I mean, he always has control. He never gets excited. He never gets upset. He always has control.
Holding, number 46, offense.
Called against Todd Christensen. 29 yards in penalties already against Tom Flory's Los Angeles Raiders. The Rams, who play in Anaheim, came to this game by bus. The Raiders came by plane. They're the home team. Plunkett gets away, throws, intended for Branch, picked off. Rod Perry came up with the interception. Branch did not expect that ball to come his way.
I don't think so. When he saw Plunkett go to the right, it looked like he held up. Now watch this. We'll see Jim Plunkett. He's getting some pressure from the middle. You see right there, Mike Fanning's coming on a stunt. Plunkett has to run. That's a right hash mark. He stops, throws all the way across the field, and Rod Perry was there in front of Cliff Branch. I think you're right. I think Cliff should have kept running that pattern, but he thought that Jim was going the other side. Rod Perry didn't.
28th career interception for Rod Perry. 4th on the all-time Ram list. Irv Pankey popped off sides a little too soon. Minute 14 left to play in the first quarter. Pace has slowed down a bit since those first two quick Ram
Ball
touchdowns.
start, offense.
Ball start against the offense.
There's big Irv Pankey. He's replaced Doug France. He replaced him last year, and then he's starting this year, his first full season. They've always had big guys at that left tackle. You know, Irv Pankey's about 270 pounds. Doug France was always, you know, you can say whatever, 300, 290, whatever, big guy.
Charlie Cowan before that. First and 15. That's Mike Grumman, who gets back for perhaps a half-yard gain. Rod Martin tripped him up.
See what's going on inside. Doug Smith is the center there, and we see him going against Archie Reese. Remember Archie Reese from the 49ers? Archie Reese does a good job of holding up that center, that middle, but Doug Smith gets a little position on it.
Ron Battle is now the Ram tight end. Barber is out. Battle in motion. Puts his back to Wendell Tyler. No place to go. Quickly is Matt Millen. Millen is some story. Big for an inside linebacker. He goes about 250. Penalty marker down. He says about his appetite. There's another fracas takes place on the field. I don't care what they bring me, as long as I'm full when I leave the table.
He said whatever they bring him, he's going to eat it all. You know, he's had a problem
Defense,
of weight. He's down.
Offense. After the play was over.
Matt Millen's down to about 255.
He was 280 in the offseason.
280 pounds.
Once in college, they say he ate a meal that included 3 bowls of French onion soup, 4 double shrimp cocktails, 2 huge salads, 24-ounce prime rib, 2 baked potatoes, and a whole loaf of garlic bread. Now that's a pretty effort.
Man, I love those kind of guys. And then you play middle linebacker with that in you. Who's going to run on you in the middle? He looks like a lady. Look at his helmet. It's all scratched up. All thing there. See, you can't uses that thing in the middle.
How much better that helmet looks. 3rd and 15. Back at the 31. 3 wide receivers for the Rams. 1 setback. Eric Amo. The rush from the outside. Throws behind Willie Miller. Incomplete. And we'll get our first look at the new Ram punter, John Misko.
He's a big one. He's 6'5". That has to be, he has to be one of the tallest punters in the National Football League.
He and Ray Guy, both tall. Both good athletes. Greg Pruitt back deep by himself. As the Raiders put 10 men up on the line. What looks like an effort to block the punt by Misko. For return. Good kick. Fine kick. Look out, Greg. Good coverage. Leroy Irvin, number 47.
Oh,
Great on special team.
Greg didn't hear you on that one. That was perfect timing by Leroy Irvin. You know, he was the outside man, the end man who can go when the ball snaps. Of course, he's the chaser, and he was the first guy down.
Tomorrow begins, of course, at 12:30 Eastern Time with the NFL Today. The Giants will be at Washington. That's a very important game to the Giants and to Washington. Minnesota at Detroit. Well, when you get to this stage in the season and with the playoffs looming, they're all important.
Yeah, but how about the Giants with their coaching situation? Ray Perkins leaving, still coaching. Bill Parcells going to be the head coach. It'll be interesting to see how they finish out.
Here's Marcus Allen breaking tackles, getting about 14 yards before he's finally tripped up by Jack Youngblood. The spinning, whirling Marcus Allen. 15-yard gain. That's the end of the first quarter. With the score, the Los Angeles Rams 14. The host Los Angeles Raiders nothing. Second quarter about to begin at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Rams 14, Raiders nothing. Ex-Ram quarterback, current CBS analyst for the NCAA games on CBS, Pat Hayden. He'll be doing the Sun Bowl Christmas Day. Plunkett fires, caught. Malcolm Barnwell has it.
Did you see Jim Plunkett throw that ball? I'll tell you, he can throw a pass from the darndest positions that I have ever seen. Let's watch Malcolm Barnwell here. He's going to run it in. He'll come up here, come towards us. Come on, Malcolm. Square it off a little. Right there, right in front of the defense. Catches the ball, and then he gets tackled there. But watch Jim Plunkett throw it. You know, most quarterbacks, they step up. They have all this thing. Now watch Jim. He's back here. He's not throwing off his back or his front foot. He's sideways, getting hit, spun around. Whoa, he whaps it in there.
Got hit in the back by Jack Youngblood. That's Cliff Branch in motion as Plunkett will throw again. Over the middle for Branch, 5 yards. Stopped by Jim Youngblood. Kenny King is number 33 with the high-top black shoes. Looks a little odd.
Yeah, we'll see Cliff Branch coming around here. He starts in motion, doesn't go all the way across, starts up the field, lets the linebackers go deep, you see, and then comes underneath, under control, under the linebackers, and then gets tackled right there. You know, they haven't gone to Cliff deep yet. See, they're hitting him on those short things and underneath, but eventually they'll put him deep.
Second down and 4. 3. Didn't get it. Kenny King, the ball carrier. That kind of pass, that underneath type pass to the tight end and to Branch in this case, we're seeing more and more of.
You know, and that's why in the statistics that the tight ends are catching more passes and the running backs catching more passes than the wide receivers, because they're usually the guys that you do bring underneath that zone defense.
It'll be 3rd and 4. 13 minutes left to play in the first half. Rams 14, Raiders nothing. 3 wide receivers. One of the markers we will see again, and we do. Plunkett goes down under a heavy rush. Leroy Irvin came from the outside, but there is a marker down.
Leroy Irvin's been all over this field. He's the punt returner, the leading punt returner in the league. He's covering punts, first guy down. He's coming on blitzes, tackling the quarterback. Yeah, he ought to get 2 pregame meals.
Ray Malavasi said yesterday that we'd see a lot of him in the contest, and we have. This is against the Rams, and it'll move the Raiders down to the 35-yard line and move the first down markers as well.
Encroachment, defense.
A lot of encroachment penalties today. I think that's the 3rd one. There's Leroy Irvin.
He encroached.
And you go stand on the sideline after
right.
you encroach.
Plunkett on first. Will throw again. Stepping up into the pocket. Penalty markers down. They throw for Kenny King. He almost made a spectacular catch. Mel Owens back there on the coverage. Flags down again.
And that's going to be against the Raiders, Pat. That was holding, offensive holding, and it was right in front of the quarterback. So had Kenny King caught that ball, it would have just been drill.
Probably against number 70, Henry Lawrence. He and Jack Youngblood are having quite a battle.
It was right at the end of the play, and I think it was on Henry Lawrence.
Holding. Number 70. Offense.
Let's see if we can watch it. Now, there's Jack Youngblood, who he's blocking, number 85. It looks like he's going against the official. Henry hits into him. See that right hand there? He grabs him there, and he may have grabbed Jack Youngblood's right ankle as he went down.
Kenny King is out. Frank Hawkins is in. 1st and 20. Line of scrimmage, the 45-yard line in Ram territory. Plunkett under heavy fire. Throws to Todd Christensen. Christensen near a first down, not quite. Down to the 25 before Johnny Johnson brings him down. 19 yards.
Jim Plunkett is amazing. He can throw the ball, as you say, under heavy fire. Watch here. Again, it's a stunt. Youngblood was right there. But somehow he just got that ball through to Todd Christensen. These are the darndest positions. Watch the pressure at the end. See, he's spinning, turning, whirling, getting hit in the back shoulders, knocked down, doing flips, rolls, cartwheels. Yeah, all in a day's work.
And finally now, he realizes the pass was complete. 2nd and 1. Allen takes it into the secondary. First down to the 17. The 2 safety men make the stop. Johnny Johnson and Nolan Cromwell. Also an official tripped him up.
It was probably Dave Moss, the umpire. I'm sure it was. Those umpires get hit darn near as much as a middle linebackers because they line up right next to him. If we can see it. No. He was a deeper guy there. Boom, good. He goes right down, has a nice little roll. Bounces up, puts the hat back. The first thing you always do is put the hat back on.
And then check your pockets. First down, Raiders. Good branch. Touchdown. Rod Perry on the coverage, but a fine throw from Plunkett. And as John Madden told you, you're going to see him go deep.
It's an amazing guy. His 11th year, and he's never lost any speed. And it's just a matter of time until he goes deep on you. I think Rod Perry knew it, too. He knew that little short stuff in front was just setting him up. He was going to get it, and there he got it for 6.
Give credit to Branch and give credit to Plunkett, too. It was a good throw. Chris Barr with Mark Wilson holding. Barr will kick. There's Cliff Branch.
Let's watch it again. We see Jim Plunkett coming here. This is the type of thing, it's a timing pass. You just throw it up over his outside shoulder right in front of the flag. Rod Perry was there, but a second too late.
Plunkett led him over that shoulder to the outside, away from the defender.
Right over the outside shoulder. Perfect pass, perfect catch.
80 yards Plunkett took him. The touchdown to Cliff Branch. 14-7 the score. The scoring drive by the Los Angeles Raiders. They went 80 yards in 7 plays. Plunkett, 18-yard touchdown pass to Branch. Chris Barr kicks off. Mike Gooman returns the kickoff, number 44, outside the 25 to the 27. Calvin Muhammad down to make the stop at the half today. Coming up, Brent is back in New York in the studio by himself. Herb's here with us. He'll have the scores and highlights. And live, we'll have Ray Perkins, George Young, and the new Giant head coach, Bill Parcells.
That's going to be an interesting thing. Ray Perkins finishing out the season knowing he's going to coach Alabama. Bill Parcells, an assistant this year, knowing that he will be head coach of the Giants next year. And, of course, George Young, the man who hired both of them.
And Wendell Tyler. Outside the 30, the 32. Stopped by Archie Reese, playing in the nose guard position for the Raiders. John, I must ask you, having been a coach and such a successful one for so long, do you think that lame duck situation with Perkins leaving and Parcells coming on will have an adverse effect on the Giants?
I'm sure that it will have an adverse effect, but probably not as much as it would had they not named a head coach. I think there has to be some effect. It can't be the same, but it could be worse.
Ferragamo. Barber. Not much.
That was one of those passes that they tried to hit underneath the linebackers, and they did, but the linebackers weren't very deep, so therefore Barber wasn't very deep, so therefore he only made about 3 or 4 yards. That's darn near not worth throwing.
It'll be 3rd and 2. As a result of that, the ball on the 36-yard line. It's 14-7. The Rams got 2 quick ones. Barry Redden returned the opening kickoff 86 yards. They went in. Wendell Tyler scoring. Got an interception and scored quickly again, and we're 14-0 on top. 3rd down. 2 tight end situation. Battle and Barber. This is Battle on the tight end around. Did not get the first down. Burgess Owens made the first contact. Good defensive play by the Raiders. Ed Watts came up to make a hit also.
Let's watch this. A short yardage play, 3rd and short. This is a funny play to run on a short yardage situation, reverse. On short yardage, you always want to get the ball as quickly as you can to the line of scrimmage. And here they run a reverse, and Battle had to run darn near 30 yards before he got back to the line of scrimmage. Funny play.
Low percentage. John Misko. Greg Pruitt back deep for the Raiders. Another good kick by Misko. Hangs high down inside the 20 is Pruitt. He gets away from Leroy Irvin this time. Gets away from another man and another man. Good effort by Pruitt. He only gained about 6 yards, but a good effort. And another penalty flag is thrown. 2 of them, in fact. 1 back at the line of scrimmage and 1 down by where the return was finished.
We'll have a lot of talk on this one.
Do we have a conference, you think?
Encroachment, defense, number 50.
Yep, see? Yeah, see, he didn't get enough talk in yet. I knew he was talking too soon because he didn't get the other one.
Now the conference.
See, all he had was that 1 penalty up here. He didn't get this second yellow flag down here. Now they have the conference.
48-yard punt in the meantime. 9-yard return. Tom Flores, the ex-Raider quarterback, ex-assistant to John Madden. Another coaching cohort.
They were 2 fine coaches, I'll tell you. Ray Malavasi was a linebacker coach with us, and then Tom Flores for years was the receiver coach. They both did an outstanding job as assistants, and of course are doing a fine job as head coaches.
Long runs by Haggerty. We'll see if he has enough wind left to tell us what the violation is. A lot of volume, Pat.
We have a multiple foul, encroachment on the defense, and a clip on the return. 1st down.
Well, now, that's Ray Malavasi on the right and Ray Malavasi on the left. The one on the right's a few years ago.
Who would have guessed it? That was an interesting call. See, the Raiders encroach, and then after the return, they clip. So the encroachment gave the Rams enough for the 1st down.
George Farmer and Preston Denard were the wide receivers. This was Wendell Tyler trying to find someplace to go, but Lyle Alzado and the rest of the Raider defense just caved in that side of the line.
I'll tell you where it all started was with the nose tackle. You know, when you play a 3-man line, that nose tackle has to hold up the middle so there's no cutback. Then the ends, or the outside men, can collapse it and shorten those holes down. That's what happened on that play.
Marcus Allen, number 3 in the NFL. begin. 2nd and 11. Ferragamo. Outside Tyler. Tyler still on his feet in Raider territory to about the 48-yard line. Matt Millen out to make the initial hit.
I tell you, this Wendell Tyler can do it all. I mean, he runs with it. He's very explosive. He catches the ball out of the backfield, has good moves. We'll see him cut back there inside and get up there close to the first down. I bet the Rams don't run a reverse on this 3rd and short situation.
They don't either. Been a lot of criticism, analytical criticism, if there is such a thing, of Wendell Tyler and the way he carries the ball. And the frequency of fumbles. Actually, he's fumbled only 8 times all year.
I like Wendell Tyler. I liked him in college, UCLA, and I liked him as a pro with the Rams. And he does have that thing, but he runs hard. He's a hard player.
They didn't run a reverse, but I'm not sure they got the first down either. Matt Millen once again made the hit.
Let's see it from the I formation. Motion, they're going to run to the left. Gooman leads. Gooman should have gotten in and out of that hole. If they don't have a first down, which they don't, it was really the lead blocker's fault. Mike Gooman, as a lead blocker, you have to get into the hole and through the hole. Gooman blocked up the hole for Wendell Tyler, and this is an interesting play. 4th down, and the Rams are going for it.
4th and a foot. And now they take a timeout as Ferragamo was not quite sure what Ray Malavasi had in mind.
And we'll see if Ray is sure of what they had in mind, or John Hadel's sure what they have in mind, or Jim Ringo.
We had 6:41 left to play in the first half. The score, the Rams 14, the Raiders 7. 6 times today, the Raider defense has stopped the Rams for no gain rushing. Here it's 4th and a foot.
You know, this could be a situation where the Rams call no play in the huddle. Ferragamo just barks some signals, hoping to draw the Raiders offside.
Hoping for another encroachment.
We've had 6-7 today already. That's what he's doing. They won't snap the ball. There's no snap.
Well, I told you before that the 30-second clock doesn't work all the time. Malavasi upset about something.
He was probably trying to get an encroachment penalty or an offside. You see, Ferragamo went in the huddle and he just says no play. And he comes up and with his cadence and his head bobbing tries to draw the Raiders offside. They don't go. The Rams take the penalty and then punt.
They were going to have to punt anyway if they didn't make the first down. Of course, in that case, the Raiders would have taken over. John Misko, 4th in the NFL. Now they'll walk it off. Greg Pruitt back by himself.
Ed Hendricks out there. He's one of the Raider captains. He was helping in that decision.
He'll help you.
That'll help him in a lot of ways. Ed Hendricks was a free spirit before there was such a thing.
And he still is a free spirit.
And he always will be a free spirit.
This one doesn't take off, a turnover. Goes out of bounds at the 21-yard line where the Raiders will take over with 6:34 left in the first half. 33-yard punt. Ed Hendricks next year we'll all be living in Los Angeles and we'll play our home games in Oakland. Now it's vice versa. CBS Sports has a couple of presents for you this Christmas Day. First, you'll see the 45th annual Blue-Gray All-Star Classic from Montgomery, Alabama. Then into the 49th edition of the Sun Bowl from El Paso, Texas, where you'll have the Tar Heels of North Carolina against the very tough Texas Longhorns, all on Christmas Day. Marcus Allen wrapped up by Mike Fanning. Got about a yard.
You know, there's a guy who's been active today is Mike Fanning.
Really
He's
has.
been in a lot of plays. He's rushed the passer. He's making runs. He's had an injury. You know, he didn't start last week. And then he's coming back this week, but he's playing very well today.
And he's going against a very tough offensive guard, one of the best, in fact.
Mickey Marvin.
Second down, 9, we'll call it, at the 22. Plunkett, the quarterback. King and Allen, the runner. Marcus Allen slips to the outside. Tries to slip around Leroy Irvin, but there he is again.
He's been doing everything on this. You know, Marcus Allen tried a straight arm. You know, that was a thing that was big in the old days. You used to always see the pictures of the running backs with their arms out, straight arming. You don't see those types of things anymore. The old straight arm, but it didn't work on Leroy Irvin.
The old straight arm was a lot more effective when the defenders didn't have any face mask.
that would make it effective. Or if on the other end of that straight arm was Jim Brown.
That was effective. 3rd and 11. Plunkett drops. Steps up. Plunkett throws back across the field. Penalty marker down. He was across the line of scrimmage. Pass was complete to Malcolm Barnwell, but Plunkett had strolled too far.
It's one thing about Jim Plunkett is he
forward pass
can't
beyond
move.
the line of scrimmage.
You know, it's amazing for his guy as big as he is. You know, he's 6'2", 6'3", and weighs about 220 pounds. He's been in the league for 12 years and still moves like he does. Let's see if we can see him get beyond the line of scrimmage. See, he starts back here. Now he's going to step up. He feels a rush coming from the outside, steps up, goes out to the right. Now he's okay here, but now he starts upfield. Right there, you see, his left foot was beyond the line of scrimmage when he threw the pass.
4th down.
It's a loss of down. They not only wipe out the completion, but the Raiders will have to punt. There's Jim Plunkett. Quite a young man. Quite an inspiration.
An inspiration and a tough, tough man. You talk about someone who's had ups and downs in his life. That's Jim Plunkett.
And not just in football.
Well, what a guy he is.
Leroy Irvin, dangerous. Standing back for the Rams, that's Ray Guy. Kicking away, or trying to kick away from Irvin, and bounces out of bounds at the 36-yard line where the Rams will take over. 48-yard punt, no return is the important thing, and Guy did his job. 14-7. Rams over the Raiders. Scoreboard apparatus functioning correctly now, and we have 5 minutes, 1 second left to play in the first half. Pat Summerall with John Madden at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Ray Guy is back along with Todd Christensen. Taking on Todd a little bit. And Ferragamo, the quarterback. Barry Redden in the backfield. Ferragamo is chased and finally hit down by Lyle Alzado. Chased by the nose man Reggie Kinlaw. They caused that whole thing.
You know, the nose tackle, that's Reggie Kinlaw there. They take such a beating in that middle on a 3-man line with a center blocking them, guards coming down on them, that the Raiders alternate them all the time. Now watch Kinlaw. He's over the center. He beats Smith, takes off the guard, beats him, gets by him, flushes Ferragamo out right there into Lyle Alzado.
Kinlaw beat 3 blockers. 2nd and 20. Trap play. Doesn't work either. Got 3 or 4. Ted Hendricks is there to wrap things up. First down is a very key down. Here's what they've been doing so far. The Rams, of course, on the left. The Raiders on the right.
We see the pass works a lot better than the run. For the Rams, they're 2.7 on runs. They only threw 1 pass, but it was for 17 yards. Now, the Raiders have a pretty good mixture. They're 5.3 on the rush, and they're 7 point on the pass, but they've thrown 9 times on first down.
3rd and 16, 3 wide receivers for the Rams. Ferragamo up into the pocket.
You got him,
Preston Denard trying to get out of bounds, trying to get away from somebody. Can't. Clock still runs. They're about 5 yards short of that first down. Quite a victory today for Don Shula and the Miami Dolphins, John.
I'll tell you, when you play Miami and Don Shula, the game is never over. They're always in that thing. And I'll tell you, especially when you play them in Miami, they're always tough, but they're tough down there. It's funny, that two-quarterback thing, where if the Dolphins lose, they criticize it, but when they win, that's the way to go. Brilliant.
They won 20-19, in case you didn't know, with 3 seconds left to play on a field goal. Rick Pruitt lets it bounce. Bounces away from him. Now he fields it. Kirk Collins was the man down to make the tackle. 43-yard punt. Lost a yard on the return. Didn't look like a very good play by Pruitt, but really it was. That ball would have bounced and continued to bounce. It would have been deeper. Boy, what a perfect day in the Los Angeles Coliseum with a match between the Raiders and the Rams. There's the Oakland Raiders. The Los Angeles Raider cheerleaders. Marcus Allen off to the right side for a couple. I guess, John, maybe you know. Do the cheerleaders come down from Oakland too?
Yes, they do. They do today. There's Henry Lawrence, number 70 on Jack Youngblood. Gets a pretty good jump on him. You see, he straightens him up, gets Jack's shoulders back, then he has that right arm in there helping a little, takes him to the ground. They're having a real battle today, Henry Lawrence and Jack Youngblood.
Two fine players. Marcus Allen and Frank Hawkins. And one of the two running backs is Plunkett. Steps to throw and does throw. And for Barnwell, picked off by the Rams' Pat Thomas.
I'll tell you, that was one that it was a great coverage here by Pat Thomas. You know, he really hasn't been having a year that's typical to him. He's been an all-pro, a great cornerback, and he hasn't been having a great year, but that was a great interception because he not only, of course, had good coverage. He's playing zone. He's off of Barnwell. You see, he's off. He just goes back there, but watch the catch that he makes. One, that's a fine catch over the head, and then keeping that second foot, the left foot, in bounds. He looked like Fred Bolitnikoff as a receiver.
A remarkable job to keep those feet down. Eric Amo will go to work on first down out to Tyler. Screen pass set up. Tyler looking for someplace to go. Hendricks had him. Tyler gets away. And Tyler comes very close to a Ram first down.
I think Tyler hurt his knee, Pat, or maybe pulled a muscle. Did you see him as he went out of bounds? He grabbed his leg and went down.
And he's still down. Sits down on the Raider bench. So Tyler sits over with the enemy for a moment at least. We'll return after this word from the National Football League. The preceding message was furnished by the National Football League. Wendell Tyler has left the game. Looks like he grabbed his left leg just at the end of this.
Watch it as he does here. You know, it looked like it could be either a cramp or a pulled muscle. Now watch right here. You see right at the end, you see him grab the leg, the left leg, right above the knee. Now that could either be a cramp or a pulled muscle. And the fact that he's up and moving like this, it was probably a cramp.
Pulled muscle, he wouldn't be jumping around like that.
Sure, or he wouldn't be grabbing for his helmet either.
Gerald Thomas has replaced him. Stocky. He can run too. Thomas broke one tackle, got about four. Bob Nelson knocked him down. Right now, let's swing you back to New York and to Brent Musburger.
All right, Pat, and coming up at halftime, I will talk live to the men who made dramatic news with the New York Giants this week. On the right, Ray Perkins, who is headed to Alabama, General Manager George Young, and the Giant coach-to-be, Bill Parcells. Back to the Coliseum and Pat Summerall.
All right, Brent, thank you. The Rams lead the Raiders 14-7. 1:23 left in the first half. Ferragamo back to throw. And does throw. Mike Barber, the tight end, gets him in field goal range. Down to the 19, an 18-yard gain. Mike Davis made the hit.
Yeah, I think the Rams are using Mike Barber more than they have their tight end in the past. You know, we know that he's blocking more, but he makes a good move on Mike Davis. You see, he started him, brought him back to the inside, turned Davis around, and then cut to the outside. That was a good move by big Mike Barber.
This is a Ram timeout. They have one left. Barber's day, as John Madden was just pointing out, they've made more frequent use of their tight end as Ferragamo is over with John Hadel. Tomorrow's schedule, and don't forget this on CBS at 12:30 Eastern Time with the NFL Today. The Giants at Washington. Very important contest. Minnesota at Detroit. Very important. St. Louis at Chicago. If you're hoping to be in the playoffs, that's important. Green Bay, Baltimore. Packers trying to regroup. And Baltimore continues to get closer and closer. And New Orleans at Dallas. Flores.
But we just got word from the Ram bench that on that play, Wendell Tyler's knee locked on him. So it wasn't a cramp, nor was it a pull. It was a locked knee.
I don't know exactly how you treat that.
I would imagine that we won't be seeing him the rest of the half, and you'll probably take a pretty good look at it after.
It'll be 1st and 10 Rams at the Raider 19. Denard was the man in motion. Ferragamo looking downfield, out of time. As the tight end, Barber again. Picked up 3 or 4, perhaps.
That's one of those types of things. When you get this close, you really can't rely on that underneath stuff because the linebackers don't have to get that deep the closer they get to the goal line. And when you're throwing underneath, you're only picking up 3 or 4 yards.
It'll be 2nd and 8. They got 2 yards from the 17.
Or 2.
Clock 37 seconds, 36, and still running. 3 wide receivers, and the lone setback is Mike Gooman for the Rams. They're at the 17. Ferragamo takes the last Ram timeout of half number 1. Malavasi can't be too happy about that.
Well, he's not, because they took too long before they take the timeout. They have 2nd down, so they're going to get 2 more downs, to run or pass. And if they were going to take the timeout, they should have taken it long before this. So they wasted a lot of time in the huddle and at the line of scrimmage.
Ferragamo looks like he ought to be playing in Los Angeles, doesn't he, John?
Looks like he ought to be on some soap opera, a doctor on one of those soap operas.
I can see that.
He
ought to be on at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and he is. Here's the guy with the best arm in the house, the Peanut Man.
That's better than snowballs.
Or ice. Peanut Man is serious about his work. Ferragamo is 10 out of 13 for 102 yards, the 1 touchdown, the 1 interception. He has hit 6 in a row.
I'll tell you, when Ferragamo gets going, he is as good as any of them. Last year, of course, he was in Canada, but now that he's back and getting back into things, he's going to be the old Vince Ferragamo.
He better be. He gets rid of it. Out to Gooman. And out of bounds. Penalty markers fly everywhere. Gooman went out of bounds on the far side of the field. Ferragamo, I didn't see had any chance to get rid of the football, and all of a sudden it came flying out. Otis McKinney was the man who was after him. Penalty marker against the Raiders.
I didn't see how it got out of there, but I'll tell you, that is a big, big play. Because had he taken the sack here, we see the Raiders coming on a blitz, linebacker, safeties. He's going to throw it underhand. Watch here. He throws it underhand, 2 hands like a lateral to Gooman. But 1, that saved a sack. Gooman is able to get out of bounds here, stop the clock, pick up a penalty, which gives them 15 more yards. That was a big, big play for the Rams and a bad, bad play for the Raiders.
Here's Pat Haggerty.
Personal foul, number 36, defense on the late hit.
Foul against Davis. Could that have been called in the grasp? Ferragamo was almost down.
It could be, but in the grasp, of course, means the whistle blows, too. In fact, the whistle didn't blow, then he wasn't in the grasp, according to the referee.
1st and goal, beg your pardon, from the 6-yard line. 20 seconds left in the first half. Ferragamo throws to the outside. Touchdown. Preston Denard, good throw. Got it done in a hurry. And that penalty And that pass by Ferragamo that John Madden talked about was a very big one.
And that was the one that made this one possible to Preston Denard. That was the same pass that the Raiders threw to Cliff Branch. That little quick up to the left, right over his outside shoulder.
I hope they don't get hurt over there.
They got them all, don't they? Huh? He has his hands doubled while the jump. Let's watch it. Again, it'll be to Ferragamo's left. A quick just right up, over the head, over the outside shoulder of Preston Denard against Ted Watts.
Extra point by Lansford. Now with his shoe off. It's off with the shoe off. Good. That'll make it, and does make it, in fact, 21-7 with 16 seconds left to play in the first half.
Let's watch it again. The Raiders are in a blitz now. Man-to-man on the outside by Ted Watts, number 20. Preston Denard, a little outside move. A great timing throw by Vince Ferragamo, just getting it over his head and over his outside shoulder. You know, when those type of passes work, they look so easy, but you really spend a lot of time in that throwing because, you know, the closer you get to the goal line, sometimes the tougher it is to throw because the 11 men on defense only have to cover a 20-yard area.
You think that pass started from the 6-yard line. You think how quickly and how deftly the quarterback has to throw it. He can't take his normal drop. He's got to get it up in a hurry.
No, he took like a 3-step drop, released the ball, and what you do is you throw it back to the corner of the end zone, that second pylon in the end zone.
Ferragamo was 4 out of 4 for 35 yards. The big completion. The one to Gooman. I don't know which was the biggest one. He had a big one to Barber, too, and, of course, the touchdown, you can't discount the importance of that either.
I think the big one was the one to Gooman because it not only saved the sack, but it stopped the clock. He got out of bounds.
Bounce the kickoff down to the Raiders. And that should just about take care of the first half as Chester Willis finally put the handle on it. .11 seconds left to play. Don't forget what has happened to the Rams. Contributed to their 1-5 record. They had the lead against the Packers. They lost. A big lead. They had the lead against Atlanta. They lost. And they had another big lead against Denver just last week. And they lost. They lead 21-7 right here.
I'm sure they don't want to be reminded of that, and they're playing very well today. The big thing about their improvement, I think, is their defense. They're very solid on defense today, the Rams.
3-man front with 11 seconds left to play in the first half. Plunkett comes away from the rush. Throws down the field to Farnwell at the 35. 2 seconds, 1 second. And they get a stop. 23-yard pickup. Was figuring ahead. It would be about a 52-yard field goal effort by Barr, and Barr is out on the field. 1 second left to play. Forget at the half. A reminder once again, we'll have from the studio in New York, Brent Musburger with highlights of what's taken place today. The dramatic Dolphin win over the Jets. Ray Perkins, George Young, and Bill Parcells live with Brent. Counting off the yardage, it will be from 52 yards out. Barr seems to have a lot of leg watching him warm up today. Seems to be strong enough to get it there.
Then when you put that line in front of you and 11 guys charging, that makes it a little different, doesn't it?
Sure does.
At least he doesn't need a snowplow.
His longest this year is 43 yards. He's hit 50-yarders before and longer. Wilson holding. This will be 53. That won't change the scoreboard at all. Never really got it airborne. So at the halftime at the Los Angeles Coliseum, the score is the Los Angeles Rams 21, the Los Angeles Raiders 7. I hope the Rams, when they go up that tunnel and get up where they're supposed to go in the right locker room. That'd be strange. Coliseum in Los Angeles, where it's the visiting Los Angeles Rams 21, the host Los Angeles Raiders 7. If you were with us at the beginning of the broadcast in our conversations with John Madden, and we were talking about our talks with with Ray Malavasi yesterday, he said there were two things he felt the Rams had to do. One, improve their defense, and they've done that. And secondly, stop the Raiders on first down. They've done that.
I've been very impressed with the Rams defense today, and one of the big keys, I think, is Mike Fanning. He's playing there in the middle. He's playing strong against the run. He's given a good pass rush up the middle on Plunkett, and I think that's a big improvement in this Ram team.
Should say, I think, John Madden, that we did see Mike Fanning being taken to the locker room just before the half ended. He did have an outstanding first half. We'll have to wait and see whether he comes back and is effective again. Right now, Irv Cross has been down on the sideline all day long talking with the players. Let's go to Irv.
You know, Pat, you kind of get a different perspective of the game down here along the sideline. You and John, of course, observe that the intensity is very high, and, of course, there's a lot of emotion down here, and you feel that as you stand next to the ball players. But in addition to that, you sort of get the feeling that both teams have a great deal of respect for one another. The Rams really feel Los Angeles belongs to them, despite the fact that the Raiders, of course, are the home team here now, and this is, in fact, their Coliseum. But there's an awful lot of jostling going on in the pitch, and I would describe it really as a fight for territorial rights. Pat?
All right, Herb, thank you. Just, we talked about in the first half that the Rams had been ahead and lost. You might recall also on a Monday night that the Raiders were down 24-7 to San Diego and came back and won. So don't go away. Mike Lansford to kick off. This will be the brother of Wilbert Montgomery, Clee Montgomery, yard deep in the end zone. Still on his feet. Clee Montgomery out to the 28, to the 35, and finally out of bounds. Jim Plunkett, who had 3 interceptions in the first half, a very frustrating one for him. Halftime statistics then, with that in mind, here they are. First downs, the Rams 10-9 an edge. Yards passing 98 to 79 an edge. Total yards 134 to 113 an edge.
And the big thing there, of course, is that turnover. The Rams have only had 1 turnover, and the Raiders have had 3.
At the 38, first and 10 for the Los Angeles Raiders. Same group started. Kenny King, the fullback. Marcus Allen, the tailback. Plunkett on first down. Screen pass. And it looks like a good one. Allen finally knocked out of bounds at, well, just inside Ram territory by Rod Perry. 13-yard gain.
It was interesting. This is the same play that the Raiders started the game with. High formation, screen pass left. You see Marcus Allen starts to the right, back, gets in there behind big Kurt Marsh. That's kind of nice. There's Dave Dalby at center. Cliff Branch gets a little block, and a big first down.
And Mike Fanning, by the way, is playing, number 79, left defensive tackle for the Rams. First and 10 Raiders. Plunkett again will throw on first down. Branch over his head, and Branch takes a hit. Branch gets up quickly. Nolan Cromwell did the popping.
Well, that was Nolan Cromwell's play. That was a double zone. Corner rotated up on Cliff Branch. Cromwell has the deep outside. Jim Plunkett tried to hit between the corner, Rod Perry and Nolan Cromwell, and Cromwell got there the same time the ball did.
So it'll be second and 10. To the 46, Kenny King, I'm sorry, was not Marcus Allen. John talked about the turnovers a moment ago. Here's what happened.
Of course, the Rams, with their 1 turnover, the Raiders didn't take advantage of it. They didn't get any points. And the Raiders had 3 turnovers, and the Rams got 1 touchdown out of 1 of those 3.
It'll be 3rd down and 7 at the 46-yard line. 3 wide receivers. Marcus Allen, the lone setback. Plunkett gets away, gets rid of it, and just throws it away. Cody Jones was the man who applied the pressure.
I tell you, that is one big thing in this Ram defense, as Jim Plunkett is aware of right now. the Rams are getting pressure up the middle. You know, they've always gotten pressure from the outside. Jack Youngblood and Reggie Doss give pressure from the outside. They haven't been getting it from the inside. But today we're seeing Cody Jones and Mike Fanning giving pressure right up the middle.
Ray Guy will punt. Wendell Tyler, number 26, we are told is questionable. Not sure if he'll be able to come back or not. His knee locked on him when he went out of bounds in the first half.
Usually when they have their helmet on, that's an indicator that they may be seeing some action.
Guy. Johnson lets it go over his head. The Raiders will down it at the 2. 44-yard punt. No return.
You know, Ray Guy has never been the type of punter that tries to punt out of bounds or to the coffin corner. He's always tried that type of kick where you just put it up and let it die before it gets to the goal line.
And in that case, extremely successful. Wendell Tyler, number 26, in the Ram offensive huddle.
I thought so. When he had the helmet on, you know, when a guy gets hurt, has an injury, he's not going to play. He usually takes his helmet off. When they have that helmet on, that means you know,
they're serious.
Yeah, they're serious. They want to get in there and get some playing.
And the helmet is really not the most comfortable hat you can wear anyway.
Sometimes it tends to smell. You know, you get, you know, you don't like to change helmets. Players like to keep the same helmet for years. Of course, you practice in it, you play in it, a lot of sweat in it and stuff.
It won't go through the washing machine either. Tyler and Gooman. And this is Wendell Tyler. Spins away from one tackler, gets out to about the 4. Pickup of 2.5 perhaps. Howie Long made the stop. He's quite a story. Didn't expect to be drafted, didn't expect to play pro football after his career at Villanova. Didn't start to play football until he was a junior in high school. And now they say, he's only 22 years old. Now they say as time passes, he could be one of the true superstars. Second and 8. Ferragamo from his own end zone. Intended for Denard, who broke it to the inside when Ferragamo thought it was going to the outside.
I think that was one of those patterns that really looked good in practice, and it was a corner-type pattern, and Ferragamo just didn't have time to hold that ball, so I think he threw that one away.
Snapped his string of 7 completions in a row. Gooman trots to the sideline out of the end zone. Still looks funny to see the Rams on the other side of the field.
That's right. I'm sure that was a thing for them when they come on this field today and have to go over and stand in the sun, the sunny side.
Third down long. 3rd and 8, in fact. Ball at the 4. 3 wide receivers in the game. Ferragamo out of the end zone. A lot of time. Throws up the middle, complete, but not a first down. Willie Miller made the catch. Matt Millen made the hit.
Of course, that's one of those 3rd down passes, and I've always felt if you're going to throw it on 3rd down, get all your receivers up beyond the first down marker. So if you do complete it, this doesn't happen to you. If you were up beyond it, then you complete it to first down. Here they complete it, and they still have to punt.
Misco from out of his end zone. Greg Pruitt, 45. This time he had some room, and Pruitt breaks it down to the 42-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Raiders in Ram territory. Kerry Lachlan, the man who made the hit, is the man digging his helmet into the turf. Now he looks okay. 46-yard punt, 13-yard return. Marcus Allen. Nothing doing by Reggie Doss, the first man there. They have shut down Marcus Allen very well today.
Well, you know, when we're talking yesterday at Ray Malavasi, that was what he said they have to do. So we have to shut down that first down run, which really means Marcus Allen, or that first down, and get him in these situations. 2nd and long, 3rd and long, then we can go and have everyone play pass.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13 yards to go. All is at the 46-yard line of the Rams. They lead 21-7. Looks up, out, has a man wide open. Marcus Allen tries to slip away from Rod Perry, but Perry finds a foot and clings to it. Maybe he clung a little too long. Marcus is upset.
And don't do that one again. That again is another one of those underneath passes that really didn't gain any yardage for the Raiders. I mean, they picked up about 4 or 5 yards, but they still have that 3rd and 7 situation.
And that's still 3rd and long.
And that's still pass rush for the Rams.
3rd down conversions, 2 out of 5, 3 wide receivers. Marcus Allen, long running back. Alvin Muhammad also in the game. Rams on a blitz. Raiders pick it up, and Plunkett's got some room. Plunkett out of bounds, first down inside the 30. Nolan Cromwell nudged him out of bounds. And Jim Youngblood.
The thing that I've always liked about Jim Plunkett is he's aware of everything that's happening. Now, watch him here. He's looking downfield, can't see anything, runs out to the right, has Marcus Allen there, sees that he can get a first down, just continues to go, gets up beyond the first down marker and out of bounds. But he can see everything. He sees his receivers. He can feel the rush coming on him. He always knows how to get away from it.
You could see how quickly he felt that one when they got Youngblood to the inside. He had his mind made up right then. 1st and 10. Ball at the 30. 21-7. Raiders trailing the Rams. Plunkett has Kenny King. Almost a touchdown. Hustle by Johnny Johnson might have deflected at the last minute.
I'll tell you, it was a great play by Johnny Johnson. He was free over on the left side. He saw it, and he sprinted for that position. Watch that. He made up about 15 yards while the ball was in the air and just got his right hand up there enough to deflect it and take away a touchdown.
Just distracted Kenny King enough. Or this would have been a closer game. Johnson, of course, has great speed. He can really run. Second and 10 from the 30. Another passing down. Another one of those second and long. Outside Marcus Allen, penalty flags down. Allen breaks the tackle, gets down to the 22, but they'll bring this one back, I'm sure. Jim Youngblood tripped him up.
Now that's one that will upset a coach because it was holding on a screen pass. That makes you mad. But the thing that makes you doubly mad is when it's holding on a screen pass on the opposite side of the screen. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a screen left and the right side holds. They don't have to because you're going to throw a screen pass, which is a quicker release.
Why hold him? You're going to let him go anyway.
Right.
Holding, number 79, offense.
Maybe that was the side of the screen.
According to that, it was. Bruce Davis is the offensive tackle, number 79. Second and 20. Pruitt's in the game, split wide to the left. First time we've seen that. Plunkett looking in that direction. Has Pruitt. Pruitt slips away and gets the first down. He hasn't lost much. George Andrews knocked him out of bounds. 23 yards.
I'll tell you what made this one possible is the pass protection. The Rams didn't get any pressure on Plunkett. Now Pruitt was able to work to the outside of the zone, right there in the sideline. And you saw what happened. Johnny Johnson, number 20, was short in that zone. He worked inside. Plunkett saw it and threw it to the outside. Now watch his pass protection. Good in the middle. They knock Cody Jones down. They get Goss away. He has time to find Greg Pruitt on the sideline.
Pruitt broke the tackle attempt by Cromwell. And got the first down. Down at the 17-yard line. Plunkett again to Pruitt. With protection once again. Todd Christensen had a touchdown and dropped it. But a penalty flag is dropped also in the end zone.
And that's right down there. You know, it's not always against the defense. Sometimes those penalties can also be against the offense, and I think that may be one of them. Offensive pass
interference, number 46.
Called against Christensen.
When the a ball's in the air, the defensive man can't hit the offensive man, but also the offensive man can't hit the defensive man.
Raiders have been penalized now 10 times, and it's cost them 77 yards. That's still below their average.
They're working on it.
Yeah, they're getting up in that area. It'll be first down 20, back at the 27 now. Plunkett throwing on almost every down. Crowd rather quiet at the moment. It's 21-7, Rams lead. The Raiders in range. Frank Hawkins and Marcus Allen, the runners, and this is Allen. And again, shut him down quickly. Led by George Andrews, the first man to make contact. Nolan Cromwell gave him some assistance.
Let's watch this, the I formation. Raiders using a lot more of that. A little pitch out to the outside. Tight end tries to hook the linebacker, leads by the fullback. We see George Andrews makes a nice play there, playing off the tight end and then working to the outside, controlling the line of scrimmage.
Give some credit for an assist to Reggie Doss, too, who came out quickly to help out. Still 2nd and 20. Outside Allen. To the 20, maybe the 21. Youngblood, who put on the pass rush and retreated. And Jim Youngblood is the man who made the first contact, the middle linebacker, number 53. How would you grade him from what you could tell, Jim Youngblood, I mean, on his first start at middle linebacker?
I think he's doing well. I think that, you know, they're controlling their run. The Raiders aren't able to run inside. They're having good flow when they try and run outside. And I think that Jim Youngblood's doing very well in the middle. I think the Rams defense is playing much better than they played all year.
3rd and 13, 8:40 left to play third quarter. Knock it back again. Todd Christensen to the 5 and another first down. Nolan Cromwell made the stop. But Christensen, who has really developed as a tight end, picks up the first down for the Raiders.
We watch Todd Christensen here. He's going to come across the field. See, he starts in the left-hand side. Now he's against George Andrews there. Linebacker coverage. Plunkett feels it, has pretty good protection. And, of course, Todd Christensen gets a step or two on the linebacker, George Andrews. That's one thing. When you double both outside receivers, then that does put a linebacker on the tight end, man-to-man.
First and goal from the 5. Christensen and Ramsey. Both tight ends in the game. Marcus Allen crashes down about a foot shy of the goal line. Johnny Johnson made the stop.
Now that's the kind of running I like. You get there, you get the ball to the back quickly. He goes straight ahead and just plunges right up there to that goal line. Watch this. Now watch Allen come in here. You know, that old shortest distance is a straight line. Boom, get that shoulder square, jump over, bang, bang. Keep lunging, keep the feet going. Get up there, feel that goal line.
2nd and goal from inside the 1. Plunkett will throw it. Can't find anybody for it. And finally, wisely fires it to some of the cameramen in the end zone, out of the end zone.
I don't know why. You know, I didn't feel that they needed that one. You know, you get a big push. You get the ball down there. Doggone it, that's when you want to give it to your line and say, okay, you big guys do it.
Here's Youngblood chasing Plunkett.
Just got rid of that in time. Still got that helmet in the back there, didn't it?
So his neck and head snapped just a little bit. 3rd and goal at the 1. Now they'll get on with it. Touchdown for Marcus Allen. The Raiders pull closer.
That's what you do. You see, you go in the huddle there, and Jim Plunkett says, okay, Mickey Marvin, you're the right guard. Henry Lawrence, you're the right tackle. I got to get some movement there. We're going to give the ball to Marcus Allen and run right in behind you. I like that kind of call.
Raiders got the ball at the Ram 43. That was their best field position of the day, best when they took it over. Took them 11 plays. They staggered and stumbled a little bit, but they got it in. Chris Barr to kick with Wilson holding. Barr makes it Rams 21 to 14.
Watch this down here in the goal line. Great shot. Now watch that right side of the Raider offense. You see they'll fly off. Both sides want to stay low. Stay low. Get some movement. Don't allow any penetration. You see 70 fly out of there? That was the big block. Charles DeJournay in there, got him moving backwards, and then here comes the back right in behind him.
And there's a touchdown difference. That's all. Pat Summerall with John Madden at the Los Angeles Coliseum. It is the Los Angeles Rams 21, the Los Angeles Raiders 14. Third quarter. 7:07 left to play. That should be Mike Gooman. Down quickly the Raiders. Good job. Alvin Muhammad, who's done a great job on special teams today.
I'll tell you, it all starts down here in the goal line. Watch your right guard, the right tackle, fire out, knock out here, knock out there, and we get a lead back and a touchdown right in there. That's where it all starts. Watch Mickey Marvin fire out. He's the right guard. Henry Lawrence, the right tackle. Stay low, drive him out, get him back in the end zone, and here comes Marcus Allen. I love goal line.
There's some close contact in other counters or whatever. First and 10. The 18. Dooman sweeps to the left. He tries to. Has some yardage. Knocked out of bounds by Burgess Owens after a pickup of about 6.
I think that's one of the things that the Rams would like to do now is stretch that Raider defense. You know, take your fullback, Mike Gooman. Not only run him inside all the time, but sometimes get him outside. Make him think outside also.
It'll be 2nd and 2. Gooman got 8 yards. Ray Malavasi was saying about Gooman yesterday to us. Probably never a superstar, but I like him in the football game. Never makes a mistake. Very reliable. Wendell Tyler bangs straight ahead. First down. Matt Millen on the bottom of the pile for the Raiders.
There was another example of an offensive line doing a good job. That was the left side this time of the Rams. You know, Kent Hill, the left guard, and Irv Pankey, the left tackle. They got movement over on that side and gave Wendell Tyler a cushion to get in there.
Earl Thomas comes in replacing Tyler. Perhaps that knee's bothering him a bit again. Game pass. Earl Thomas. Got some room. Matt Millen knocked him out of bounds. Earl Thomas is about 5'10", but goes close to 230.
I'll tell you who did a good job is Doug Smith. Watch the center here, number 56. He'll hit Kinlaw. He starts a pass protection. Now he sneaks underneath the line. See, he's going to leave. Now watch, he'll block Ted Hendricks right here, number 83. Hendricks comes up, boom, just gets that knee, takes him down, and that lets Thomas get to the outside.
That was the key to that whole play. Doug Smith, number 56. From the 41-yard line, 1st and 10 Rams. Clock running, 5:58 left to play. Third quarter, that is. Ferragamo going deep for Preston Denard. Incomplete. Ted Watts right back there with him, stride for stride.
Let's watch this thing again. It's a zone, so Ted Watts isn't playing man-to-man. He's getting as deep as the deepest. They both get there about the same time, but Ted Watts got his hands on it first. I think he thought Denard had the ball. Look, he has him down there saying, who has it? There's Mike Davis behind saying, I got it.
Ferragamo takes his glance over to the sideline. They sold 65,773 tickets today. Blackout, as we told you before, by consent of both the owners, was listed so the broadcast is shown in Los Angeles. Here's Ferragamo. Once again, he goes deep. He has Willie Miller overthrow. Lester Hayes doing a good job on that one. Lester's made a comeback.
Lester sure has. You know, last year he didn't have a big year, and they said it was because of Stickum. Lester said that had nothing to do with it. Tom Flores said it was because he had too much weight. He got his weight down this year, and he's back to what he was 2 years ago. See, the thing about Lester is he's big enough to bump him on the line of scrimmage and then fast enough to run with him after they get by him.
That is picture technique you just looked at by Lester Hayes, one of the best.
How about the jersey hanging out? Is that good or? They have fines for that.
I know.
I didn't say that, Lester.
3rd and 10. Tyler's back. Ferragamo's now back. Intended for Preston Denard. It's incomplete, and the Rams will have to punt. Ted Watts, the defender, again. A little pressure on Ferragamo. Might have hurried that one a bit.
There was a time the Raiders usually play a 3-man line. In passing situations, they come in with a 4 defensive lineman, and you see the pressure. That was big Howie Long inside that gave the pressure on Ferragamo. Made him throw that one away.
They come in with Reuben Vaughn, Johnny Robinson. They both put a little heat on that side. Miska, the kick. Red Cook weaving his way to about the 24 before the Rams take him down. 46-yard punt. 11-yard return by Pruitt. It's Ferragamo and Miller go into conference. It is 21-14, 3rd quarter at the Los Angeles Coliseum. CBS Sports will bring you a couple of Christmas gifts on Christmas Day that won't be under the tree and won't be wrapped. Blue-Gray All-Star Classic for the 45th time, and the Sun Bowl for the 49th time. Leroy Irvin. Know exactly what's going on.
It's like a meeting of the defensive back.
Or the punt return team. Here's Plunkett. First down, he finds Cliff Branch, who's got some room. Speedy Cliff Branch gets still run. Branch still on his feet down to the 25-yard line before Rod Perry finally got him out of bounds. Boy, he put on a show.
As you said before the game, he makes things happen. He's an amazing guy. He's been in this game 11 years, and he doesn't change. He still looks the same. He still has that quickness. Maybe 10 years ago, he would have outrun this last man. See, he has a little move here. Once he gets by Cromwell there, he feels it. Now take it upfield. That's it, Cliff. Get to the outside. Now, see, now right there, maybe 5 years ago, Rod Perry wouldn't have caught him.
51 yards, nevertheless. And a first down for the Raiders at the Ram 25. Plunkett goes right to work. Marcus Allen to the 20. Close to another first down. Rod Perry tripped him up.
Hey, it looked like the Raiders started this game and they were going to run the ball, and then they got down by 2 and they decided, what the heck, forget the run. Let's throw every down. I think that's Jim Plunkett's type of game. See it from the end zone. We see Marcus Allen just sneak through the line, again in front of the linebackers, and then made that play. First down.
First down at the 15. Just over 4.5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Frank Hawkins replaces Kenny King in the backfield. Plunkett to Marcus Allen on a draw play. Allen stays on his feet somehow and works to get back to the line of scrimmage before Johnny Johnson makes the stop.
May have had a bigger play than that had he not run into his own man. He ran into his center, Dave Dalby, who was wandering around out there. I tell you, Dave Dalby's had a great comeback. You know, the Raiders have really only had 2 centers in their history. Jim Otto is a Hall of Famer, and then Dave Dalby. And last year, look at that. He saved it, just comes right up there. Like magic. Boom, lose it.
That goes back to 1960.
Anyway, last year was a down year for Dalby, and he really dedicated himself this offseason. And back to training camp, he's having a big year.
2nd and 10. They say he worked harder than anybody ever has. Here's Marcus Allen. Taken down by George Andrews. Just a couple of yards, no more.
See it right here. This is another one of those underneath things. We see Andrews coming back here. and they hit right in front of the linebackers, right in front of Andrews, but he comes up and makes the tackle, really for no gain.
Make it third down, and 8, 7 at the 13. Between the 13 and the 12. Greg Pruitt now is the lone setback. Frank Hawkins flanked off to the right. Pruitt swings out of the backfield. Plunkett looking for him. Can't find him, throws it away, and has it picked off. Threw finally in the direction of Todd Christensen, but the Rams have the football. Interception number 4.
Jim Plunkett's complaining about something there, but I knew that's one. You know, when you get down in that area, you have the field goal. You know, you're working for the touchdown, you have the field goal, but you can't afford a turnover. It's a great play by the Rams coming up. See, now they get pressure up the middle to the outside. Now he's really throwing off balance, backing away, and this had no chance.
This was Pat Thomas who made the interception. And the Rams take over. There is Pom Pom Mom.
Never too late.
First down. Rams at their own 13. Barber in motion, pitches back to Tyler. Tyler is down in the backfield by Lyle Alzado. Loss of 2 or 3, almost all the way back to the 10-yard line. This is not the time to get conservative if you're ahead or if you're behind.
Of course, and when you're the Rams and they know what has happened to them when they've been ahead, and conversely, when you're playing against the Raiders, you know, they're going to keep shooting at you until that final gun goes off.
Well, you know what's happened to you, as you say, if you're the Rams, you sort of start or have a tendency to start looking over your shoulder. 2nd and 12. Here's Ferragamo. Has Barber open, and Barber is taken down by Mike Davis. Got outside the 15 to about the 17. Not enough for a first down, of course. So it'll be 3rd down and about 6.
Now the Raiders bring in their 4-man rush, so they'll get that pressure up the middle, and of course they'll go with 5 defensive backs. The Rams will probably go with 3 wide receivers.
Out goes Gooman, and the 3 wide receivers are there. Ferragamo has the first down. Pass complete to Wendell Tyler, who scrambles quickly to his feet. That'll move him.
You know, we always talk about the 5 defensive backs, and of course that's what they call the nickel defense. You put a defensive back in for a linebacker, and we see here Ferragamo finding Taylor. Let's just look at it. We can see they talk about nickel. Here's 1 defensive back, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they have 1 less linebacker in here. And that's all the nickel is, 5 defensive backs.
Gooman back in the game now with Tyler on 1st and 10 from the 27. Hand off Tyler. Tyler bangs into nothing again. Loses a yard. Howie Long led the defense. Nothing doing today, Wendell.
Wendell still has a little smile about it, but you know, that's why they like Howie Long over there, because he's so big, as you said earlier, and when you play a 3-man line, you really don't have the defensive ends that you did in a 4-man line. You're really playing the defense with 3 defensive tackle types, because they have to be able to hold that run with no lineman next to them.
2nd down, 11. Ball up to 27. Final seconds of the 3rd quarter ticking away. Ferragamo to throw. Pass intended for Barber, knocked away by number 51, Bob Nelson. Good play.
You know, I wonder how he got rid of that ball. Ted Hendricks was right on him. You know, Ted Hendricks is 6'6". Now watch him. He'll come right up the middle. Watch, here's Hendricks here. Now how he got that ball beyond Hendricks, he looked like he sidearmed it to his side and underneath.
Big Ted Hendricks.
You know what his nickname is? They always call him in the papers and so on. They say his nickname's Stork, but his nickname is Kick 'em.
there a moral to that story?
Yeah, I'll tell you that later.
Okay.
Everyone calls him kick him.
Third down, 11. Two wide receiver set up against the Rams. Ferragamo goes down, and a penalty marker goes with him. Lyle Alzado put the pressure on. That's the second sack of Ferragamo, and the violation is against the Rams.
It's probably against the man, Irv Pankey, who was blocking Lyle Alzado. That's what you need. That's the toughest pressure when you're a right-handed quarterback and it comes from your left or back side, because you can't see it, and if you don't feel it, it's always going to end up in a sack, and a lot of times an interception.
75 offense declined, fourth down.
Was the left tackle, the man that Alzado beat.
Was Irv Pankey. You heard Pat Haggerty say that Raiders will decline. So Misko will punt. Greg Pruitt will be back deep once again for the Los Angeles Raiders. 29 seconds left to play, third quarter. 21-14 the score. The Rams lead. A lot of pointing going on up there. A lot of time going by on the clock. Misko. This one not quite what he hoped for. Bounces out of bounds right at midfield. 32-yard punt, no return. So the Raiders will take over at midfield. Probably have one more play in the third quarter. Time for one more play in quarter number 3. 22 seconds on the scoreboard clock. It is 21-14. The Rams over the Raiders. Right at midfield.
The Raiders like to go for a deep one in this situation.
Cliff Branch to the left, Barnwell to the right. They have Marcus Allen hit right at the line of scrimmage. Frank Hawkins, I'm sorry, not Marcus Allen. The stocky one.
Sometimes they like to go for him. Sometimes they like to just run up the middle.
Sometimes.
Plunkett, that left arm there, it looks like he's been in a war.
So the score is 21-14. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Rams 21-14 ahead. We now pause for word from your local station. At the Los Angeles Coliseum, one more quarter to play, at least. 1-5 Rams lead the 5-1 Raiders. 21-14. Jim Plunkett. Cliff Branch out of bounds at the 15. Nolan Cromwell took him out of bounds. 35 yards on that pickup.
You see from the end zone, the Rams are in a double zone coverage. Plunkett gets time and hits between the short man and the deep man. You see Nolan Cromwell didn't get over there in time.
Out of bounds at the 14, they say. It'll be first and 10 from that point for the Raiders. They trail by 7. Dave Dalby, the offensive center, leads them up to the line. Marcus Allen to about the 7. Hard running. Hit by Cromwell and Andrews, but knocked backwards by Allen.
Looks like the Raiders are down there this time, and they're probably going to just keep the ball on the ground and run it in. There's Ray Malavasi. He's thinking, doggone, we shouldn't have let him. We shouldn't have let Branch get there and get off the line like that on that deep one. That's the one that hurt.
Cliff Branch now has 22 games in which he's caught passes for more than 100 yards. That now is a Raider record. He had shared it with Fred Biletnikoff. Allen again. 2 to 5, perhaps. George Andrews again on defense.
Let's watch this on the line here. We'll see again from the I formation. Hawkins leading. We'll see that great cut. You know, that's the thing that Allen can do. He starts to the outside, plants that left foot, and has that real ability to cut back.
It'll be 3rd and 1 for Plunkett's group. Line of scrimmage to 5. Hawkins and Allen. Two tight ends, Derek Jensen the other. This is Hawkins, and he won't get it. He lost a yard. Pat Thomas came up quickly.
This will be an interesting decision here for Tom Flores. With early in the fourth quarter, plenty of time, they'll probably go for the field goal.
And indeed, Barr comes out. And Plunkett comes out. A little bit disgusted with the end of that drive.
Well, you know what happened. Hawkins didn't take that ball straight up. He got in there and started to slide to the outside. The Rams, the right side of the Rams defense did a good job. You see, they got some penetration. Hawkins never got his shoulders square. And you can't run short yardage and goal line when your shoulders are perpendicular to the line of scrimmage.
This will be 24-yard attempt by Barr. And it's good. You can tell by the way he runs off. So we have 12 minutes and 43 seconds now left to play in regulation time, and it's the Rams 21, the Raiders 17. Pat Summerall with John Madden at the Los Angeles Coliseum. It's 21-17, Rams over the Raiders. 12:43 left, fourth quarter. Barr will kick off. Onside kick, and Barr himself recovers it. Think Malavasi's not upset?
He's so upset he took his headset and all his gear off. That was a gutsy call by Coach Tom Flores. And I'll tell you, that was a big play. Let's watch it again. You see, the center's supposed to watch. He's not supposed to go back until the ball goes over his head. Barr kicks it. He has to let it go 10 yards. There's 5. There's 10. Now he can recover it. And he does. He had the line out in front of him. But the center, the first man in the kickoff, seemed to turn his back.
So it's first down Raiders after the onside kick is successful. Plunkett to King. Kenny King shakes away from one man. King will have a first down at the 40. Johnny Johnson finally made a stop, but a gain of 13 yards.
Sometimes you have to do those types of things, those onside kicks and so on. Watch this. Now again, Plunkett feels he's looking to the outside. There's nothing there. He finds his safety valve. Kenny King, boom, gives him a little pop. Kenny King gets a first down.
And you remember seeing the kicker recover his own onside kick?
I'm sure I have. I don't remember specifically, but that was a planned play. You know, the other coverage guys went in front of him like wedge blocking.
Very rare. That's Jim Youngblood, who's down. 21-17 Rams. Jim Youngblood, the only real middle linebacker, and he's not a middle linebacker, that the Rams have. They move Owens into the middle. So with 4 down linemen. Marcus Allen breaks into the secondary and breaks a couple of tackles inside the 35 to the 33. Mel Owens made the stop.
You know, it's interesting. What they did is they don't have another middle linebacker. What they did is they went to 5 defensive backs and played just with 2 outside linebackers.
There's Youngblood over on the far sideline. You saw a minute ago one of the most devoted Raider fans, James Garner, who was such a fan that he's even dressing like Al Davis now. Or a coach. On second down, Hawkins will have the first. Jack Youngblood tripped him up. First down, Raiders inside the Ram 30. It's 21-17.
Yeah, this really puts the Rams in a difficult situation. Of course, they lost Eckern, who was their starting middle linebacker. Then they played Jim Collins there. They lost him last week. So now all they had was Jim Youngblood. They don't have another middle linebacker, so they're really playing right now without one.
They're playing a 4-2, and the extra defensive back is Leroy Irvin. That's Greg Pruitt dancing down inside the 20 to the 19.
I think the Raiders realize that now, that the Rams are playing 5 defensive backs, which is a pass defense. Now, of course, it's tougher to pass against, so if they're going to play that, why not just run the ball at them?
And that's a very solid idea. Let's see Boonery. 2nd and 2 from the 19. 10-20 left to play in the game. 21-17, Rams lead the Raiders. Hawkins bangs down inside the 10 to about the 9. Leroy Irvin made the hit, but it'll be 1st and goal Raiders.
Let's watch this line blocking here. We see Dave Dalby, the center. He blocks to the right. He knocks out Fannix. He takes him. Mickey Marvin, the right guard, comes around. He leads on the linebacker, and that allows Hawkins to get through. You know, really, when you go to 5 defensive backs, the guy that you take out is a middle linebacker, so that's a place to attack it, right up the middle. That's what the Raiders are doing. Probably will continue to do so.
Hawkins again. To the 5. Reggie Doss tripped him up. Rams did have a middle linebacker on that play, Mike Riley.
Right, they went to it. They finally got a middle linebacker in, and Ray Malavasi said if they're going to run, then we have to get some type of run defense in. It's tough to play without a middle linebacker.
There is Jim Youngblood. They say he has a possible knee injury that might require surgery. To the 4 is Marcus Allen.
I don't know if the Raiders know that they put a middle linebacker in there. They're still trying to run against that thing. Now would probably be a pretty good time to throw the ball.
Might just have to, some sort of a rollout or something with Plunkett's capability. Here comes the message from Tom Flores. Derek Jensen, Derek Ramsey come in. Flores on the left. Malavasi, of course, on the right.
If they are going to pass, they put in, they have their 2 tight end offense in, so if they do pass, it'll be some type of play action pass.
Allen and Hawkins behind Plunkett. Now he starts Allen in motion and rolls right. Hawkins made the catch. Fumbling and juggling on the way down, but the official was right on top of it. We'll be on top of it, too. Look at this.
Let's watch it right here. It was a good play by George Andrews, 52. Good coverage here. Hawkins and not letting him get in the end zone. Watch this. Here comes Andrews. Hawkins catches the ball. He doesn't let him get his shoulders turned.
I'm not sure that was a catch. He juggled that thing for quite a while.
4th down, big call.
Allen over the top. Penalty marker down. Touchdown signal.
Looks like the penalty will be against the Rams because they're still arguing.
Cromwell really upset. Looks like the touchdown will stand. Pat Thomas is irate. I'm not sure that was a legal catch to play before.
Well, the Rams aren't sure that this was a legal touchdown. Let's watch it here. All it is the ball has to break the plane of the goal line. High formation. Marcus Allen up in the air. Now that ball, does that reach the plane? Does it break the plane? It did right there.
Sure
See,
did.
he stuck that left arm out. It broke the plane.
Look at the 2 coaches. '53-yard line plays. Barr makes it. Raiders 24, Rams 21. Marcus Allen, who just scored the touchdown. It's set for some finish. 24-21, Raiders over the Rams. 7.5 minutes left to play. It's the Raiders 24, the Rams 21. Barr kickoff. No onside this time. It'll be Ritton at the 6. He has one return of 86 yards. The opening kickoff. This one out to the 20. The touchdown again.
Let's watch it now. The Rams do a good job. You see, they get low. They have penetration. Marcus Allen just dives in the air. Now, he doesn't have a touchdown yet. But now watch the left arm. Now, right now, the ball broke the plane of the goal line. It was a nice little extra move by Marcus.
And that's what it looks like, a brawl. But the ball got into the end zone, or got over that plane. Up on or over is what the officials use as a guide. First and 10 Rams from the 20. 7.5 minutes left to play. 24-21 Raiders. Ferragamo. Under fire, under pressure, intended for Preston Denard. But he didn't have much time. Howie Long. Bob Nelson put on the heat. Last 3 possessions by the Rams. They started at their own 2. They wound up punting. Their own 18, same result. Own 13, same result.
But the big thing in that last score was that onside kick that 1 got the ball back to the Raiders and 2 put them in good field position.
And of course, there was a 35-yard completion from Plunkett to Branch. Second down 10, Ferragamo again. Has time. Picked off by Matt Millen. Raider linebackers to the 10-yard line. 18-yard return by Millen. The big truck was loose.
Guarantee you he'll keep that football. He's giving it to Ted Hendricks. Ted gave it back to him. Watch this. We'll see 55 Millen. He's not playing man-to-man. He's playing his zone. He reads the quarterback's eyes. He sees Ferragamo, and then boom, he just hits that thing right up the middle. Look at Ted Hendricks. Let's watch it on the telestrator here. We'll see what his zone is. He's not playing any man. He'll just drop straight back in here, and he'll read Ferragamo's eyes. Now watch the linebackers here. It's a zone defense. Both those inside guys. You step back, read, see the ball. He gets it. If you're a linebacker, take it straight up the field.
That's what Millen did. Somebody will buy him dinner tonight.
Now, he looks like a linebacker.
It does. He eats like a linebacker, too. Just outside the 10-yard line. 7:08 left to play. Marcus Allen looking left. Doesn't get much. Maybe a yard. Jack Youngblood ran him down. There's Matt Millen.
Is that on yet? Hey, Pat, I'm not you. I'm on. Fire.
He took a little time out from the oxygen to give a message to someone. Then he went right back to the oxygen.
Think he was speaking to me? Pat, Matthew, and Mom. I don't think I'm in that group. He also said he was tired. Second down, 9.5. Allen leaps down to about the 5. Johnny Johnson on the bottom of the pile.
I think that's why Marcus Allen is a great running back, that he doesn't waste a lot of time making lateral moves. When he decides where he's going, he goes. And he's a very reckless person for a running back.
For the most part, the Rams have done a good job stopping him today. 21 carries, 59 yards. Of course, he has scored 2 touchdowns.
I think his presence does something to that defense.
I think it certainly does. King and Pruitt, the Oklahoma backs in the backfield. Outside Pruitt. Touchdown, the Raiders.
There's a happy Greg Pruitt. He was playing left halfback, and it looked like they got fouled up in their coverage. Watch now, no one covers Pruitt. He comes out of the backfield. They take the tight end. Watch, there's no white jersey on him. Plunkett sees him and just hits him there in the end zone. That either had to be the weak safeties man or the outside linebacker.
Barr with Wilson holding. Is no good.
Cliff Branch on that play. He's coming down. I'll tell you, he really put a move on Pat Thomas, but Jim Plunkett was looking the right way, the other way.
Either way would have been the right way. 30-21.
That's what happened. On the touchdown, we see 2 Rams blitz right here, and it leaves no one right here for Greg Pruitt. That's what's that. You see the blitz, the safety blitzes too, and Pruitt's out there all by himself. Plunkett didn't have to throw to Branch.
Made it look easy. Barr to kick off. Red comes over to field it again. At the 3. Looks it into his hand. Doesn't make it back to the 20, to about the 16. Derek Jensen comes up to make the stop. Not trying in any way to bury the Rams. We showed you that throughout the afternoon. And today they led 14-0 and now trail 30-21.
You know, sometimes you just get snake bit. I really have the feeling that the Rams are snake bit. Something happens to you once, then it happens again, then it happens a third time, and then you just get the feeling that they can't wait for it to happen again. They know that it's going to happen, and you can't get rid of that feeling until you do it.
Don't look back because somebody is gaining. Ferragamo looks outside, throws outside to Denard. Ed Watts, the defender. Rams have had a very tough time in the 4th quarter. They've been outscored 82-24. And when that happens, you don't hold many leads, do you?
No, you sure don't. And, you know, I mean, that's what football is. Really, it's a game of the 4th quarter. It's a game of short yardage and goal line. A lot of that other stuff is for show, but those other things are for the win.
Outside, this is Gilman. Gilman taken down by Hayes and Hendricks. One thing we haven't mentioned, John, I think we should, is that, you know, of course, the big trade that the Rams made in the offseason that to acquire Burt Jones, the quarterback. Well, Jones has had some physical problems, is in the hospital at the moment, in traction. Let's see what happens. Blocked by Farmer. Denard breaks away. Got away from Watts, knocked out of bounds by Owens.
One thing that the Raider defense doesn't want to do now is take that lead and play so loose on defense that you give the Rams a chance to catch up, because 5 minutes and 16 seconds, they have a lot of time to do it. They only need 2 scores, a touchdown and a field goal. The Rams are talking about to win this thing.
And again, that missed extra point becomes a factor. At the 40. Ferragamo will throw every down just about if he has time. Intended for Denard. Watts. No one's back there with him. Jack Youngblood over on the sideline. The ever-present hat.
But he's been through a lot of good times and bad times with these Rams. Been one of the great players. I tell you, we used to play against Jack Youngblood. He would fight you for 60 minutes, and we used to put one guy on him, 2 guys on him, 3 guys on him. Fierce competitor.
Ferragamo, Alzado up from behind. An attempted pass. His arm was moving forward, the official rule.
There's one that you give the rush to. Let's watch number 77, Lyle Alzado. Traded him away from Cleveland last year. He's on Irv Pankey, gives him that move, just goes right around him. Again, you see that backside is so tough. Ferragamo, 1, he couldn't see him, and 2, he didn't feel him that time.
Big Lyle doesn't look like he's lost any fire, does he?
No.
3rd down, 10 at the 40. 5:05 left to play. Talking about Youngblood a minute ago. Remember the Super Bowl game up against Pittsburgh when he played the whole game with a broken bone in the leg?
Broken leg, yeah. He had it all bandaged up and everything, and he's one tough man.
Doesn't want to retire in a year like this. Ferragamo sprints out right. Chased by Howie Long. Gets away from 1. Finally throws. Has Tyler open, and he'll have a first down. Tyler out of bounds at the 20. Give credit to Ferragamo for that one. 19-yard gain.
This is so big in today's football where the quarterback, again, he doesn't have to be able to run to scramble, but he has to be able to move like this. Move to the right, dodge to the left, get away from the rush here, get away from the rush there, and still throw the ball. You have to be able to do that to be a quarterback today in the NFL.
More and more you see that. The Redskins, for example, have a play to take advantage of Theismann's ability to do that. A planned scramble. First and 10. Ferragamo to throw again. Has it batted away. Almost intercepted. Mike Davis almost came up with it.
I'll tell you, had that ball not been batted away, it would have been a touchdown because Ted Watts fell down. Watch number 20, Watts here. He's covering man-to-man. Here's where Ferragamo's trying to go. Rod Martin knocks the ball down, but see, we see Denard is open, and Ted Watts fell down. Let's see if we can see it from here. Here we'll see Denard. Here's Watts. He'll start to back up. He runs an out right in here. Now let's watch that and see what happens. Now that's where Ferragamo wants to throw. He wants to throw to the out right here. Now watch. Well, we didn't see it there.
Watts, I think, hurt himself when he slipped down on the turf.
I think he did. You know, he slipped and he didn't get up. I think he did hurt himself. In fact, they took him out.
He's standing up on the sideline now and seems to be okay. There were 2 high school games here last night. Field had been in just about perfect shape, but it's chewed a little bit now. Ray Malavasi checking things on 2nd and 10. 4:50 left to play. James Davis has taken Watts' place. Ferragamo goes in the direction of Wendell Tyler. Penalty marker down. Mike Davis was the defender, and he got his feet tangled up with Tyler.
And that'll put the ball right down there on the goal line. And with 4 minutes, 45 seconds, there's still plenty of time in this football game. I think the Raiders have let up a little. I think they got a little loose down there. The Rams and Ferragamo have really taken advantage of it.
Now the Raiders have suffered 96 yards lost in penalties.
There's Mike Davis. We see right there the ball's in the air. He touched him with his hand, and then I looked like he got a little other contact in there, a little more contact.
So close. First and goal at the 1. Tyler didn't get in. Howie Long, the first man to make contact with him and knock him down short of the goal line.
Again, the Rams, of course, they want to score here. They want a touchdown here, but they don't want to run a lot of time off the clock. Now, we see the goal line there. The Raiders are playing pretty well. They have penetration. There's really no place for Wendell Tyler to run.
Time remaining and running off the clock. They need to hurry. John Hadel alongside Ray Malavasi. It'll be 2nd and goal. Inside the 1. Ferragamo, touchdown. They got it done. Straight ahead and simple.
That's one thing about having a big quarterback like Vince Ferragamo. He's 6'3", 215, 220 pounds, and he can get that little push in the middle. He doesn't need a lot, and again, all he has to do is the football break the plane to the goal line. What? He takes the dive. You see the football in the right hand? That's where it broke the plane. Just like Marcus Allen's play. Looked like he may have got hit on that right hand.
Matt Millen hit him with his helmet. Got hit somewhere else, too.
Got a bloody nose.
Lansford. Don't forget about the importance of this extra point with Cromwell holding. Little scuffle with Millen again.
Dennis Harris not going to take it. Yeah, it's easy for you to smile.
Is he smiling?
The official was. He wasn't in on it.
82 yards, 9 plays. Ferragamo was 4 out of 7 for 62 yards on that last drive for the touchdown.
Encroachment number 55, defense.
Let's watch Vince Ferragamo here. He takes the dive up over his center. Now watch right there. Watch Matt Millen come in. Right there with the ball that already broke in the plane.
What's that, 7 times now on the extra point for encroachment?
I think we've had 7 encroachment penalties all day.
We're going to have to get encroachment enrolled in the pension fund.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's better than offside. Anyone can say offside. It takes a sophisticated to say encroachment.
Extra point is good. And so that changes the complexion of things. It's the Los Angeles Raiders 30, the Los Angeles Rams 28.
You know, anytime you have a missed extra point, it will always come back to haunt you in some way.
Just think about earlier today. Miami beat the Jets 20-19. Tomorrow's schedule here on CBS, a most important game. The Giants at RFK Stadium in Washington. Minnesota at Detroit. St. Louis at Chicago. And after this week, the other games tomorrow, don't forget, Green Bay at Baltimore, 1:30 Eastern Time. And then New Orleans at Dallas at 3:30 Eastern Time.
You know what's going to be a big day for tomorrow? Those NFC teams, they're 3-3. Because I think if they win and they go 4-3, I think they're in very good shape to get in this playoff tournament. Now, if they don't win, then they're going to have to scramble those last couple games. There's like 6 or 7 teams that are 3-3.
Cowboys and the Redskins, of course, are 5-1.
Yeah, they're in.
Jets are in now after that. Well, I don't know about that. Couldn't really say that.
I would think they're in with the 5 wins anyway. I think they were in
so.
before the game.
I think so. Lee Montgomery is alone back there. Montgomery lets it sail over his head. Lansford really put the foot into that one. 5 wins should be enough. We're going to have some tiebreaker situations, but 5 ought to do it. 4:14 left to play in the contest. It's 30-28.
Now this, of course, is an important drive here for the Raiders. What they have to do is get some first downs. Think of that. Run time off the clock. Hope to maybe get in field goal position. And if they get a touchdown, of course, that's it. Now the Rams, they have to think of holding them down here, forcing them to punt, and get the ball in good field position.
And we should keep in mind, John, I think the fact that the Rams do not have a middle linebacker. They've gone to a 4-man front. They have a 4-man front. Marcus Allen, the ball carrier, stopped by Mike Riley, who's been pressed into service because of all of those injuries to the people in front of him.
That's the guy that they're using, Mike Riley. He's a rookie from Oklahoma. He was an 8th-round draft choice, and they had to put him in there. Of course, that's better than going 5 defensive backs, because when they went that way, they just couldn't stop the Raiders in the run.
Second down and 8. Somebody moves. 3:35 left on the clock. Matt Haggerty, the referee.
Ball start, 65, offense.
False start by Mickey Marvin.
See, if the offense false starts, then the defense can encroach. Once those offensive linemen get down in that 3-point stance, they can't move. And that's what happened. The right guard, Mickey Marvin, moved after he was set.
The Raiders now have 106 yards in penalties to 20 for the Rams. Their average, we told you earlier, was 87 yards lost per game. So they've upped that a bit. 30-28. Second down and 13 from the 17. Marcus Allen. Taken down by Mel Owens.
Well, the Rams went on that time. They went to their 5 defensive backs, the 2 linebackers, 4 defensive linemen. Of course, the Raiders see that, and they're going to it again.
Owens, an interesting story. They thought they had made a mistake. They drafted him first last year. got involved in a little contractual dispute and really didn't have a very good rookie year. But this year he came back with some dedication, and now they're satisfied and happy.
Of course, he was a #1 draft choice, too, from Michigan. And, you know, and when they hold out, they miss that training camp. It's tough, that first year.
They're down 7. Big down right here. 2:45 left to play. Plunkett will throw. Youngblood rushes to the outside. Plunkett looking for someplace to go. Finally gets rid of it. Almost picked off and now incomplete. Todd Christensen saying, I had it. I had it. The official says no. Cody Jones put the heat on Plunkett.
Let's watch it. He's coming out here. He's going to turn to his left here and run it out. Johnny Johnson was underneath. Now, he looks like he's stopping. He doesn't think he's going to get the ball. With a scrambler, you always have to work. Oh, no, the ball was on the ground.
You can see him juggling.
Watch it, right there. See, it went right through his arms and hit the ground. It was between his stomach and the ground. So he's still trying to get it under there.
Bromwell over on the defense. This is the first time, excuse me, this quarter, when the Raiders had the ball, they haven't scored. Leroy Irvin back to accept Ray Guy's punt. Good kick. Irvin at the 33. Penalty marker is down already. 44-yard punt, 11-yard return, but they'll bring it back. Bob Nelson made the stop on Leroy Irvin.
Of course, that'll probably be one of those blocking above the waist from the
Pushing
back,
back
or
on
whatever
the
they call
return,
it.
number 23.
Go against the Rams, so that'll take 10 yards of what really was pretty good field position. It'll take 10 yards of it away from them.
The first major penalty against the Rams. Lucius Smith is number 23.
Pushing it back on the return, number 23.
I kind of like that push in the back a little better. You know, last year they had a lot of verbiage that went with that. It was blocking from behind, above the waist, and those type of things. Now they just say push from the back. You know it's coming anyway.
Kick it off. Kick it off.
First and 10. The 27. Ferragamo drops. Steps up in the pocket. Fires. He has Denard at midfield. He cuts back again. Never does get back quite to midfield. He did get out of bounds, however, and stop the clock.
Ray Malavasi, he's calling plays there. Denard runs it in. See, now Ferragamo was looking to the right. Couldn't find anything. Came back to Denard. Mike Davis was man-to-man. He beat Mike Davis, and now he can't get the ball upfield. Finally runs out of bounds. They don't have to stop the clock yet. This could be the man of the day right here.
Sure could.
Come on, now!
They run the draw play to Goodman.
Now the Rams will probably take the two. Well, they won't either because there's a penalty on the play. I was going to say they would probably let it run down to 2 minutes, but now there will have to be a play before the 2-minute warning.
Personal foul, number 37.
Personal foul called against Lester Hayes. Didn't see it. Let's see if we can find it.
Lester Hayes is up there. Tight coverage. He's man-to-man. He's bumping there. Now, that's okay. Oh, that's not okay. See, right there, what they get him for is hitting in the face, hitting in the head. See, you can't do that, especially in front of their bench.
And right in front of an official. That'll move the ball down to the 27-yard line of the Raiders. And it'll be first and 10 Rams. Raiders lead it by 2 points.
The Rams will run this one, then take the 2-minute warning.
Tyler. Not much doing. Slam to the turf at the 25. Mike Davis there first. Two-minute warning, so that will stop the clock. 2 minutes left to play with a 2-minute ball game on our hands. Raiders up by a deuce. Pat Summerall with John Madden, Los Angeles Coliseum. The Raiders 30, the Rams 28, with 2 minutes left to play.
Now the Rams really have a couple things here. One, I think they would like to run the ball, take time off the clock. They're in field goal position. Still not give the ball back to the Raiders, but you'd also like to get a touchdown.
All right, it's second down. 2 minutes left to play. Second and 8. From the 25, Gooman gets the call down to the 20. Looks like they're going to put it on the shoulders of their kicker, Mike Lansford.
And pretty soon now, the Raiders are going to have to start thinking of using some timeouts. In fact, maybe they've already thought of it.
Both teams have all of their timeouts remaining. And now the Rams have taken one. I'm sorry, the Raiders took that one.
And I think they have to, because they know that the Rams are going to try and take time off the clock. They know they're in position for the field goal, and they want to have time. If, in fact, the Rams do score, they want to have time for themselves.
Lansford apparently feels as if he's warm enough. Now the question will be the pressure. It would be from 37 yards out. Right now, his longest field goal is 39. That was last week against Denver. First-year kicker from Washington.
What do you think of when you're the kicker like that and you're bouncing around and doing all those things?
Well, it depends on what kind of success you've had recently. If you've been successful, you can't wait to get out there. If you've missed a few, you just hope that they won't call on you.
Those were the two kickers there. They were congratulating each other before the fact.
It may be a little early.
Maybe it's wishing them luck.
Maybe. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. And I'll continue that in just a minute. Third down and 3 from the 20. And off Tyler, he won't get the first down. Rod Martin flings him back to the ground. Ferragamo still on the field, but here comes the kicking team. And Mike Lansford.
And the Raiders have taken their second timeout. Because they know with a minute 40 seconds, that's plenty of time. They only have one timeout. If they want to get this thing over with, this field goal attempt, get that over with, it's good. They want some time to work with.
This will be from about 36 yards out for Lansford. Ferragamo and his offensive group now over on the sideline.
Isn't the left hash mark a little easier for a soccer-style kicker than the right hash mark?
I think it is. You're much more inclined to come across the ball and hook it from the right hash mark. This one's on the left side. Nolan Cromwell is holding. 36 yards out. It's good. It's good. Still plenty of time left.
Look who one of the first guys in there to congratulate him was. It was Vince Ferragamo. I know the quarterback, Vince did his job. He got the team down there, and he was really happy when Mike Lansford did his job. Let's watch his reaction. Boom. He knows now. Nolan Cromwell, his holder, gives him a little slap. Ray Malavasi, let's see what he does. He's watching. That was a sigh of relief right there.
Yeah, it really was. But he also is very much aware of the fact that there's plenty of time left for a lot of things to happen.
Well, you know, the Raiders won last week against Kansas City with 6 seconds remaining. They hit a big pass from Jim Plunkett to Calvin Muhammad.
Ball that was underthrown. Muhammad came back for it.
Plunkett said it slipped out of his arm. Tom Flores called a comeback or a sideline pattern. Plunkett changed it to an up. Tries to throw it. It slips out of his hands. They get a touchdown, win the game.
He has gone through the quick change. He's got the sock and shoe on now. He kicked the field goal barefooted. Again, this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. Is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited. It is Greg Pruitt. He's got an alley. Pruitt still going. Outside the 40 to the 42. Kurt Collins finally tripped him up. 43-yard kickoff return by Greg Pruitt.
Let's watch this one again. You know, I tell you, that's why you always like to pick up veterans like Greg Pruitt, who have been in big games, who have been great players, who can do things like this. They know that it has to be done. That's a sign of a true player. You know, a great player, when the things are toughest, when they really have to be done, the great ones just seem to get them done.
The guy who threw the key block that sprung Pruitt was Matt Miller, the linebacker.
That oxygen's working.
Yeah, something is. First and 10 at the 43 as Plunkett drops back. Looks, throws to Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen out to the 47-48 before Mel Owens can trip him up.
Now the Raiders will probably go without a huddle here. They only have one timeout left. They don't want to use it yet. You want to save it as long as you can.
1:09 left on the clock. Plunkett back to the line quickly. Youngblood forces him up. Left branch to the 35. Mel Owens again on the stop. 17-yard gain and another first down for the Raiders. Again, they're up to the line quickly. 50 seconds left on the game clock. Youngblood hustles back. Back is Pruitt. Malcolm Barnwell takes it out of bounds and stops the clock. 40 seconds left to play. There's Barr, the other kicker.
Isn't this something?
Wow.
I love this type of football. It's a lot easier up here. I wonder what Chris Barr is thinking. You know, he's the one that he missed the extra point that really caused this situation.
He is thinking,
forget the last one?
Forget the last one, and let's make sure of this one. Pruitt in the game and flank wide to the left. Cliff Branch on the right side. This is Marcus Allen, chased by Cromwell. Allen down the sideline and out of bounds at the 10. Johnson was over to help, but that makes it easier for Barr. 14-yard gain, 81 yards on the day for Marcus Allen at 24 carries.
And I'll tell you the other thing, he also got the ball out of bounds, which stopped the clock, so the Raiders are still able to preserve that one timeout. When you have one, you can still run, and you can still throw the ball in the inside. If you don't have any left, then you have to do everything to the outside or in the end zone.
Now they might coast a little bit and run some clock, want some time off the clock. And the Rams will be in that situation of having to call timeout. Allen is the lone setback. Plunkett gives to Allen. Room to the outside. Touchdown for Marcus Allen as he vaults into the end zone for the third time today. What a drive. Quickly things change on the same side of the field. "57 yards in 5 plays. Plunkett was 3 out of 3 on the drive. Barr now for the extra point. This one is true. Right in the heart. What a rookie is Marcus Allen.
I tell you, you know, we talked the whole game about how reckless he is. Marcus Allen right here, he isn't thinking position for a field goal. He thinks touchdown. Now what? He's running perpendicular side of. Watch right now. He gets his shoulder square. He really smells that end zone. Now watch him take off and leap for it right here. Reckless. Just anything. Get that ball in the end zone. He was not going to be denied.
Good block by Todd Christensen. Helped him get to the outside.
Marcus Allen has had a better day than the entire Ram team. He's rushed for 92 yards. The Rams have only rushed for 62.
Marcus Allen becomes the 5th Raider ever to score 3 touchdowns in one game. Barr will kick off. The Rams now still have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. 29 seconds on the clock. Barr will most likely bounce it on the ground to try to cut down on the possibility of a long return. But sometimes when you do that, the other folks wind up in better shape.
Well, what you'll want to do is kick a line drive, but get it beyond the front line of the Rams. Just like that.
And he did. Uh-oh. That was a lateral. And it did go out of bounds, and the Rams will keep possession of the football.
You know, you have to respect that. The Rams had a play for this type of situation. It's our executive producer.
Our senior producer. Why is he senior?
Because he's old.
Bob Senator, who's not old. Sandy Grossman, who's very alert and very gifted. Associate producer Joan Vetrano, Rich Nelson, who's helped out, and so has Brooks Graham's crew. So thank you.
Richie Zions was also here this weekend.
Yeah, didn't see much of him. Ferragamo throws to the outside, almost picked off by Rod Martin.
Rod Martin wanted a touchdown. He knew it. He caught that. He would have taken it all the way into the end zone.
Pass intended for Preston Denard. 4 seconds left.
Look at how deep the Raiders secondary is. There's Lester Hayes. He's back on the 30-yard line. He's about 60 yards away. Look, you can't even see him in the picture. Keep going back, cameraman. He's way back there.
They don't have a camera that wide. There he is.
Nope, not yet. No, still haven't gotten it.
Deeper.
Deep there. He is right back there. Look at that.
Plunkett 22 out of 34. Ferragamo 20 out of 34. For grabs. Nope. So that's the final score. The Los Angeles Raiders 37. Los Angeles Rams 31. From the Coliseum, Pat Summerall saying so long for John Madden. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.